Guys, if you didn't know, we are touring America.
Here are all the places we're going to.
Yeah. Oh my god, I love
Look
that
at
state.
all of these places.
So guys, again, head on over to thetrashtastertour.com, links in the description below, and for all of you Americans, we will see you all there.
So what's the opinion on skipping cutscenes?
Absolutely not.
I skip like all cutscenes.
We're going to have a first guest walk off the podcast. We're going to make history today.
Welcome to this episode of Trash Taste. I'm back with the boys, Grant and Joe as usual. And today we have a very special guest, ProZD, Sungwon.
What's up?
How you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah.
You're so relaxed already. Like, you've been here for hours.
Yeah.
You've just sunken into that.
I've always been on this show just in the background.
It's nice being next to someone who has a deep voice as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's comforting. I feel I get. Did you get deeper when you're around someone else with a deeper voice? You just
No, I do, yeah. I mean, you just go like that.
The audio listeners are really confused. Like, Connor's speaking over himself.
The ASMR on this is fucking crazy.
By the time we end this podcast, only whales will be able to understand like what's going on.
Subsonic.
beached whales start coming.
Exactly.
But no, I mean, I think you've been a requested guest for a long time.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I feel like you're in the same kind of circles, right? It's kind of like niche anime.
The anime
stuff, but
circle,
the
yeah.
anime circle.
I saw that clip of how you were being harassed online to
be on this?
to be on the show. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I mean, yeah, the next time I go to Japan, I guess, which will be in like 5 years if I'm lucky. But no, yeah, when Connor reached out to be like, hey, can you be on? I was like, hell yeah. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you ever been to Japan before?
I have. I've been there twice. I went there. God, I don't know the time anymore, but like maybe I think it was like right before pandemic, maybe like the year before,
Right.
and the year before that. So like I did a trip to Korea and Japan.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
And was in Korea for a week, then Tokyo for a week, and that was with like my wife and my mom and my brother.
Right.
And then the next year, around the exact same time, both fall time, I went to Tokyo again with some friends.
Right.
I would love to go outside of Tokyo, like, you know, Osaka, Kyoto, like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
But mainly I've just done Tokyo.
What'd you do when you were there?
Oh, you know, weeb shit. Well, like the first time I went, it was mainly since my mom and was there. You know, we did a lot of temples and
Traditional stuff.
traditional stuff. Although I did take her to Akihabara,
Of
and
course.
she was like, "What the hell is this?"
Did you take?
Traditional. It's
Yeah.
traditional.
Yeah.
It's
Did
part
you
of
take her
Japanese
to a
culture.
maid cafe?
I did not, because I have dignity. But I was so like it was very surreal seeing her react to all
Wave
of
shit.
that because it's
All
it's crazy, you know.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else did I do? Like Nakano Broadway.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
which I
awesome.
love.
Yeah.
I'm a big Disney guy, so Tokyo Disney Sea. Other than that, like just going around like different areas like Ikebukuro and stuff like that, and just checking stuff out.
Did you play the Love Life games while you were in there?
No, I didn't. What I did end up doing was a ton of Crane games.
Okay.
I ended up getting like tons of shit through the Crane games, and that became my thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you play against each other?
Yeah, you got to challenge.
Yeah,
Connor.
Yeah, I hear you're really good.
I don't know.
I'm not good. I'm just tenacious.
Well,
Like,
he's only good because he's done like 6 videos.
Yeah, I've spent way more money than anyone should have.
Yeah.
Spent about like $6,000 now on Crane games.
Yeah.
You would hope that after
You'd hope
spending
you'd be
that
good
much
at
that,
money,
you'd be good at
that
that
you would
point.
be good.
You're literally like pay to win right now.
what is the best thing you won at a Crane game?
Oh, definitely. I got this. It was like a really nicely made Lucario plush.
Okay.
It's holding like one of the Pokemon fruits. But it's like, you know, when you get a plush, sometimes you pick it out of the thing, you're like, whoa, this is just anemic. You feel like there's stuff inside, but there's like it's like they didn't care where it went.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like the stuffing is all over the place.
Yeah.
It's just a really, really nice quality plush, and I would easily like see it at the Pokemon store, or whatever, for like $60, $50.
Right,
It's really nice, and you could get it for like 20 pretty reasonably.
Nice.
If you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you're bad, you can just be like, "Sumimasen."
Yeah.
Come over, like,
Right.
because they don't know, you know, the staff don't know how long you've been playing for. They're just polite, you know. They just assume you're not taking the piss and not calling them over after one.
Yeah.
Which I don't do.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure they'll respond to willingly anyway.
They
right?
would, like, if you just took one shot,
Yeah.
and maybe actually because they'd know if you've moved it a bunch,
Right.
Yeah.
But with certain claws, they don't know.
Yeah.
Because if you pick up something and it just flops over somewhere, they're not going to know it's your first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with the ones where you got to shimmy it,
Yeah.
Those ones suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do
You
suck.
can't, you can't cheese them. You have to just do it. But that they'd know if you were taking the piss.
Now that I've been in Japan for a while, I was never like deeply into the crane game culture just because like obviously you want to win the prize, but I feel like you get like cooler figurines and cooler accessories just by buying it, you know?
Yeah, but there are some exclusive stuff that is only for crane games,
Right.
Which you can, but you can buy it because
But like, do you think it's
like?
do you think it's like cooler than what you can actually find in store and like other places?
Well, I'll say this for me. Like for me, I don't ever buy plushies ever. Like, that's just not something I do.
Actually, that's true. That's true.
But in a crane game, I'm like, but if I win this game, then it's fucking great.
Okay, I can get behind the plushie. I remember like winning the Chainsaw Man plushie in your video, and that was actually legitimately cool. That's probably like the only thing that I kept.
Oh, I've got the pen as well. I've got a really nice pen.
yeah.
Because I feel like crane game figurines, like like they look like crane game figurines. You know,
Yeah, they're
like-
pretty basic.
Yeah, they're very
The
very
figurines
basic.
are okay. I
Yeah.
do make. I don't know if you do this, but when I pursue a crane game, it does have to be something at least relevant to my interests.
Yeah.
Like I do have a friend who like just does them to like get like victory,
Yeah.
and then he just gives away the shit. But for me, it's like it's got to be something I like actually care about getting.
Yeah.
Something you actually want to keep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was me on my own, no videos or no cameras or anything, then that would how I would do it. But on camera, you're like, well, I got to win stuff. So I don't want to play the machines that are hard.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play the ones that I know I can win. And then sometimes you get a good plush and you get it in an amount of turns. You're like, this was a steal. I got this for a steal.
Yeah.
Like, I got this in 10 and this definitely cost $20 in retail.
Yeah.
I'm a genius. I'm a mastermind.
I'm gaming the system.
That's when it feels amazing.
Yeah.
So like you had a fun time, you won, and then you also have a prize for cheaper than you would have paid for it.
Yeah.
But you also never would have bought that prize normally.
Because you've done the crane game video with Connor as well. How long did it take for you to just kind of like be fucking sick of it? Because
Like the first 15 minutes.
I remember, I think it was like after half an hour, I was just like,
Yeah.
how is this gonna like? It was a great video, but like I remember during filming, I'm like, this is gonna be like
because it's like every like 15, like 20 minutes, you think you're starting to get it.
yeah.
And then something happens where you're just like, never mind. I don't know how to do this at all.
Yeah, I know nothing.
I normally just give people a budget, and it normally takes like 3 hours of playing crane games.
Sure.
And
That's a long time to play
It's
playing crane
a
games.
long time because after the first hour, like you said, you start to get really miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're also carrying all the stuff.
Yeah,
around, and then
yeah.
You got to remove because we have like a suction cup to attach to it.
Yeah.
It's a whole ordeal.
Unless
The
you're Chris and you only win one thing.
Yeah. Some people aren't very good. We had
Yeah.
the only person who actually enjoyed doing it and wanted to keep doing it was Kaho.
Right.
But Kaho's an anomaly.
She's really good though.
Yeah, she's good at them as well.
Yeah, but like I've been excited to have you on because normally like with our previous guests, right? There's been this like joke where the guests are just like, "Oh, we're gonna talk about anime," and we kind of like look at each other and laugh, right?
Yeah.
Because we genuinely talk a lot less about anime than people think that we talk about.
Okay.
But you low-key have like a fucking amazing taste in anime. Like I
know.
Like I just gotta say, man, I can't remember what video it was where like you had to like say what your favorite anime were, but I remember you going down the list, and I'm like, damn, you got some good fucking shows
Was it
on
the
that
one
list.
where you were rating waifus, I think?
Which one?
Yeah, out of the many videos, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. I watched. I was like, okay, it's
Yeah.
got good taste.
I remember when this guy busted out. Oh yeah, I really like Legends of the Galactic Heroes.
yeah.
That's how you. That's
how
how
you know you're the real one.
That's how you know. That's
So you've
like
seen all of it?
Huh?
You've seen all of it, Legend?
I
of the-
have.
Yeah.
I have seen 70 episodes. I've still got like the last few arcs to go through, but yeah, it's fucking incredible.
It's
right?
great.
It's
And
amazing.
you rarely get. Connor looks so lost right now, but
I voiced in like one of the dubs or something.
You in the new one, right?
Yeah.
me too. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like everyone did because they needed so many.
There's so
Yeah.
many
They needed
characters.
so many voices.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
were like, I get every voice actor.
What did your guy do in it?
He was, I think he was someone in a bar overhearing something and talking about covert. It was two of them. They're from different factions and they were arguing, but like very discreetly.
Were you on Yongwen Lee's side or Reinhardt's side?
I don't know. I was on the one where
You don't know shit about the characters you play?
I rocked up. I was like, "What
You
am
don't
I
watch
doing?"
the shows you voice in?
Legend of the Gladiator is an exception. It's too fucking long.
It's good though.
It's
So many
really.
lip
I mean,
flaps in that
even
show.
I haven't finished the original yet, but I think the remake's also really good.
I hear it's good. Yeah, I haven't seen it
I haven't
yet,
seen the
but-
remake. Yeah.
I just realized you hadn't told the people what you do.
Oh yeah, you should probably
yeah.
introduce yourself.
Yeah, do you want to
I
introduce
feel like
yourself?
most people know you, but I mean,
Yeah.
just for discrepancy, just tell them.
Yeah, I'm Sungwon Cho. Go by ProZD online. I do YouTube. I'm a voice actor. It's kind of right.
It's kind of you're underselling yourself.
Yeah.
He's voiced in so many cool shit. You blew up on Vine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're killing it.
And you also have the world record for getting banned on TikTok. 80%, right?
Yeah. What happened there? What was that?
I have
about?
no idea. I was on it for about a week, and then I just woke. Like my wife texted me because I was out of town, and she's like, "Why are you banned on TikTok?" I was like, "What do you mean? Why am I banned on TikTok?" And I was banned on TikTok, and so I think I scared them off with the tweet and the video that I made.
Right.
Where I was like, "I don't care if I'm unbanned, but this is fucking dumb." And then immediately after that, I was unbanned with no explanation as to why.
Was it 'cause people were uploading a lot of your content to TikTok?
That would have been happening for years before. So I don't know if it was like people flagging me or because you can swear on TikTok, right?
Yeah, of
yeah.
course.
Like I don't think there's like restrictions on that. So it might have just been like flagging or something, or maybe they really. I mean, at the time, it wouldn't let me upload a profile picture.
Yeah.
So maybe they thought I was a really convincing fake or something. I don't know, but it's back now, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Oh my God.
For YouTubers, try to figure out TikTok.
yeah, right. Have you used that fucking app?
Every now and then. Yeah.
Every now and again,
It's a
I dabble.
nightmare.
Yeah. It feels weird because like I use YouTube Shorts way more often because at least like I know what my tastes are and it's like garnered towards my taste.
Sure.
TikTok, it's like it's a bit scary to put that much of yourself into just this fucking algorithm to be like, okay, you are going to let a computer figure out your entire life personality by swiping.
Yeah.
That's basically TikTok, right? And I'm just like, it's like impressive how good the algorithm is, but it's also like scary to a point. as
Very
well.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we post like clips of like our podcast and everything on TikTok, but aside from that, we don't make original content for TikTok.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Are you? Do you browse it pretty often, or are you?
What made you go on it?
I think for me, it was something where I wanted something that I could just have no pressure with. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Although everything I do fucking online, I don't do well, and I just do bullshit. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
but I guess at least with YouTube, I have to like have some semblance of like, okay, I cannot just do board game reviews that nobody gives a shit about. I have to like sometimes do a video that maybe other people will watch. So it's like a balancing act for me. Of like,
Right.
okay, one for me, one for them. Like, make sure.
I've never
Make sure.
heard a YouTuber talk about it like
Yeah.
Yeah, and make sure the production values look like they're from 2007. Like that's my channel. Like I'm looking at all this equipment. I'm like, wow, this is what real YouTubers do. I don't know anything. I use my iPhone to record my videos.
I had a feeling you
Yeah.
still like were, but that's part of the charm, right?
Yeah.
That's part of the charm. Because
Yeah, the charm,
Like
yeah.
No, there's definitely a demographic that misses like the old school YouTube vibe and style where it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
filmed on an iPhone.
Yeah, see,
right?
that's not like me being like, this is a smart decision. It's like I'm very lazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Right.
no,
Very, very lazy. That's the easiest way to do it, and then that's it.
No, 'cause-
Going back to TikTok, I think it was just like another avenue of like, I don't care how well TikTok does, like at all. I have no stakes. Like if it does well, that's great. If not, I don't care because I'm just brand new on it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's doing like pretty good. Like it's, but for me, what's important is that I'm having fun with it. You know, it's something where I'm actually inspired now. Okay, I can just put out like a fun, silly little 20-second video and not have to worry about, is it like up to the standards of whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that's basically what I've been doing with it.
I mean, like your content seems to be like very, if I would have to say, it would seem like it would be suited for TikTok because it's like very short form, high intensity, like skits and content and stuff like that.
And like I still plan on doing skits for the channel specifically.
Yeah.
Because I also cannot stand that you have to film it vertically. Like I'm so old. Like I'm just like I gotta film it. Like it's gross. Even Vine was like a box at least. This is like
right.
fucking anyway. So I'm still planning to do skits, and also editing on TikTok is such a nightmare. I know you can upload stuff to it,
Yeah.
but I'm lazy. All right, again, super lazy. So it's like, okay, if I can just do it in the app, I'll just do it in post or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like the purpose of TikTok stuff. But then for regular skits, it's like, okay, I'll actually edit it myself and make it a little nicer. Whereas for if I just have a silly little idea, I can just do it in like 20 seconds. Like I just post it out there and have fun with it.
Because like I remember you saying you still record on your phone and everything, and you never really have like tried to like market yourself or make that kind of content. But like I remember when you switched over to Vine to YouTube, you kind of started making these skits where it was just like very short skits, but the thumbnail was just like your face, and the title was just like exactly what it says on the tin, kind of like titling. And I remember that was like so unique at the time for YouTube because everything was like getting like pristine and proper with like our marketing, and you came along and it was just like it's just a guy with like his face, and then somehow that just became the meta. Everyone started doing that.
Lowercase titles.
Lowercase titles.
I've so noticed that lowercase titles. Do you know? I might have told you this, but do you know why those thumbnails are the way they are?
Why?
You know, since I've had that channel like since 2006, like. You know how it generates 3 random thumbnails?
Yeah.
I just picked the one I like best. I have never made a single custom thumbnail video.
Damn.
And at this point, your producer's like, what the fuck? Are you stupid? I'm like, yeah, I'm stupid and lazy. Like, for me, when I was younger, I always thought it was fun because back then you couldn't make a thumbnail.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's fun. Oh, like which one am I going to use, and which one is the best one?
Yeah.
And for God, how long has it been now? Like 15 years.
Right.
I've never
You've never made a custom thumbnail.
I see what the 3 thumbnails are,
right?
And I pick the one that looks the most. Whatever,
but sometimes with those 3 auto-generated thumbnails, like there are some videos where I've uploaded where it's just like, wow, these all look horrible.
It doesn't matter. I still. So
I'm trying to re-upload and like reshuffle it.
Yeah.
Some other thumbnail.
No, dude, I'm just like, okay. I had YouTube gave me like a manager once.
Yeah.
You guys have a manager? YouTube. It's bullshit
kinda.
anyway. So they like were like, oh yeah, here's a manager, and I'm like, okay. And he didn't understand me at all. He was like, he pulled up like a video. He's like, so what's going on in this thumbnail? I'm like, I don't know. It's just
This poor YouTube
because
figure out what the fuck.
yeah, because it's like one of the board game reviews, which like those.
Yeah.
I will say the board game reviews are entirely for me because for those of you who aren't aware, I'm a huge board game fan. And like people are like, these videos are only getting like this many views. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like I'm not an idiot. I know how numbers work. But for me, it's like I just enjoy making them, and they're just like a little side project.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
And he was like looking at them. It's just like a board game on a table. Maybe my hand is like covering half of it because it's one of the fucking thumbnails. He's like, what's going? You can make custom thumbnails. And I was like, I don't do that. He's like, what do you mean you don't do? I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. It's like, I would recommend. I was like, I'm not going to. And then maybe like a couple months later, they were like, okay, you don't have a partner manager anymore.
He just like threw the towel in.
They were like, this guy doesn't.
It's like, I'm done. I give up.
He like pulled up this like, there was this whole PowerPoint presentation. He was like, these videos, it's like a skit, do really well. And these videos, board game review, don't do well. And I'm like, I know. It's like, did you know if you do more videos like this? I'm like, oh, really? Thank you so much. You are really very, very useful. So for me, it's been like, I've been very stubborn because YouTube was like an accident, right?
Right.
For me, it's always been voice. I'm very, very, very passionate about voice acting, very serious about it. I take that very seriously. With YouTube, I don't take it seriously at all. And it's managed to work out. Like, I know it won't last forever, and I know that, but even, I don't know, like, it's still working,
Exactly.
So I think for me, it's always been like, instead of going down a path where I hate what I'm doing or am not at least enjoying what I'm doing, it's like, I'll just stop doing it. I'm just going to do it until, like, literally no one gives a shit, and then hopefully by then I'll be doing other things. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, was voice acting always like the final end goal for you?
Yeah. That was since like high school.
Right.
Yeah, high school. Like, that was like my dream.
Right.
Like to one day maybe be able to do it.
Yeah.
So a lot of people might have heard this story, but like the TLDR is like my whole internet journey was I started on Tumblr actually. Did audio posts. Those got really like big.
Yeah,
Really?
the goofy covers, right?
Some goofy covers and then like shit posts and things like that.
Yeah.
That led to Vine, and then Vine went really big,
Yeah.
and then Vine led to the YouTube channel getting really big.
Yeah.
So it just those were the steps, but that was like 2012. I just graduated from college,
Right.
And I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. So I made the Tumblr, a voice acting Tumblr, did one post every day, every single day for like 3-4 years or whatever.
Right.
That eventually developed like a following, and then that's what I attribute all my success to in the online space is that.
Right.
And actually even the voice acting space, because I was practicing voice acting, right? And,
Right.
Prior to Vine and even before people knew who I was, that's when I was starting to book like independent like video games, and you start getting referred to other directors and stuff. So
Right.
yeah, a lot of people, they even now to this day, they'll be like, "Oh my god, ProZD is in a game." I'm like, I have been in like 100 things over the past like 8 years. Like I
Right.
don't know, but you know, but it's fine. Some people know you for one thing or another.
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
or whatever.
exactly.
But so yeah, that was where everything. It was just me sort of sitting down and be like, I want to do voice acting. I don't know how I'm gonna get into this industry.
Yeah.
And you just kind of make shit on your own, and you know.
Yeah.
And that's what the advice I always give to people who are like, how do you become a voice actor? It's like,
Just
start making
just
shit.
start
and-
making stuff,
practice
right?
every single day.
Yeah, practice
Stuff
every
that you're
day.
passionate
Yeah.
about. So you
Yeah,
gotta put
take
a lot of
classes,
effort in.
make shit, put yourself out there, meet other people, and because like a lot of people, like you know, including you, and like you know, my age, that generation of voice actors, all started that way. Like
Right,
we just
right.
made stuff online, whether it was fan dubs or these
Shit
things,
posts.
and
Yeah,
now
yeah.
shit posts exactly,
Lots of
and
shit
now you know whenever I see people nowadays. They're like, oh, who's this newcomer? I'm like, no, I know who that is. That guy's been like, you know,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
been
yeah.
grinding and like, you know,
Yeah.
he's been working for like years. Like, he's not a newcomer at all. He's just like finally getting his, you know, just like, you know,
Yeah.
is success that he
Deserves.
deserves.
There's
you
a
know?
lot
Yeah.
of people that you see from like the old times where you're like, oh, wow, he's killing it now.
Yeah,
It's weird for me as well because even though I've never been a voice actor or tried voice acting, I've always been aware of like I call it like the VAA generation.
Yes.
where
Yeah.
it's like there was this like voice acting board called like the Voice Acting Alliance, where everyone would post and
black and
find like new fan dub projects,
Yeah.
new bridging projects, and I see a lot of those names that I used to see on the board now actually voicing like real anime or just like fucking killing it in some other field
Sure.
on
Yeah.
YouTube or something.
I mean, it's obviously like people are, you know, they're always going to need new talent.
Yeah.
And who better than the people who've been doing it since they were like 15 online?
Yeah.
Like who've had a shit ton of
Yeah.
practice in this one specialized field.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all just level grinding, right?
Yeah.
It's level grinding, and then just getting to a point where you're
Life is an
ready.
RPG.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's just trying to get the requirements.
You
to enter
joke,
the
but
quest.
everything in my life is just like a list of achievements. like I want to play all these board games. I want to eat at all these restaurants. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I find it funny because, like, I remember back in the day, there was definitely like this air of just like, look at these kids trying to get into anime by doing fan dubs, online
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
No, you got to go to like you got to be in the industry, man.
Yeah.
These kids are just playing around, so it's actually just gratifying just to see everyone actually people actually succeeding after putting in the grind.
Yeah.
Because it, you know, it might have been like fan work and fan dubs, but you get like
It's
actual experience from
it's
it.
actual
Yeah.
experience, yeah. Sarah Jane Sherman, who's a very well-known casting director, she recently tweeted very similar like advice, like, yeah, just start making stuff. Like I've seen people make TikToks of them like doing voices for their fish, and it's like, I mean, you laugh, but it's like that's actual. You are demonstrating
Yeah.
Yeah,
your
yeah,
ability,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
if it's a silly little thing like that, you know.
Yeah.
That's so I always encourage people like, yeah, just make shit and see what happens, and just you know that's
One
how
thing
you
I have
gotta do it.
noticed is that I don't know if you guys feel this on your end, but do you feel like having a social media presence, even as an actor, is like more and more important now than it used to be?
Because it's certainly important, or getting more important now in the Japanese side of things.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like some of the top voice actors now have such a massive like social media presence, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who get to know them not just from the roles that they do, but also from just like what they do on Twitter or like Instagram or like even on YouTube.
like
and stuff
Tomokazu
like that.
Sugita. Or,
Yeah, like Suita Tomokazu is massive.
Like
on
he has
Twitter.
a huge following.
yeah,
Yeah,
huge on Twitter. Yeah.
Okay.
It's 50-50, I swear. Some voice actors here say, yeah, it's really important. Others say, no, I don't think so.
What do you think? I have an answer, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
I think it's undeniable that having a large presence would put your name kind of in the face of more people.
Yeah.
Whether it would lead to you actually getting more stuff, I feel like that's up to you and how much work you're putting in.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I feel like it's definitely going to put you in front of people more.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, definitely. I think just like now that everyone
That's
is using it.
No, there's no correct answer.
Did I answer correctly? You tell me. The free friend, the question was like, you tell me.
Yeah. It's the interviewer like tone. Like,
I'll judge.
I think I have a more complicated like answer for it, because I do agree with you that having a bigger following, just people knowing who you are, that's good, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's for networking, whether it's for just even getting introduced to things or whatever is good.
Yeah.
But I think there can also be kind of a stigma towards it's like the idea of like, oh, you're a YouTuber and you're trying to be a voice actor. Like there's definitely been, I mean, I will say there was one project I recorded for, and then I was working with one director. The other director found out I was like a big YouTuber. He's like, you put a fucking YouTuber, and took me out.
really?
Really?
Yeah. This happened. I won't say the name of it, but also that guy was a dickhead anyway. But like, like I never worked with him, but I've heard he's just a dickhead. So anyway, that was one instance where I went in, I recorded, and I lost the part because this guy was like,
That's fucked up.
Wow.
yeah. So I mean, that was only one time.
It's still a fact that even happened.
Yeah.
It's still very. I mean, and you'll see like
On Twitter, people.
there'll be like backlash, like, oh, so and so, they just put them in because they're, and it's like, no, like so and so has been working hard towards that goal for a long time, and is like, also if anyone who actually gives a shit about the art that they're making, they want the performances to be good, right? So they're not going to hire someone just for
the clout.
just for the clout, right?
Yeah.
That's something you're going to see in like maybe like a big Hollywood movie, when you see like cameos or whatever like that. But for stuff where you actually have to audition for it or whatever, like it's completely ridiculous to say that like, oh, so-and-so is only getting it because of this. Because if so-and-so is bad at acting, first off, everyone's going to be able to tell, right, when it comes out.
Yeah.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
And there have been instances where, like, sometimes it comes out and you're like, so there's that. The whole, like, sometimes people kind of judge you or go, oh, you shouldn't be in this or whatever. There have definitely been times where I feel like I go in to the booth, and they don't know who I am, but they saw, I guess they like looked my name up and they saw there was a YouTuber, like, and this guy really, can he really do it? And then I like do it and they're like, oh, okay, he can do it.
Okay.
Which is absurd to me because, a lot of voice actors come from like stand-up comedy backgrounds and it's like you have to start somewhere, right? Like you don't come out of the fucking womb a voice actor. Right? But for some reason, everyone thinks a YouTuber is just like, well, okay,
They're just a bunch of clowns, man.
yeah, they think we're brainless clowns, which some of us are.
Yeah,
like, I get it, but it's also kind of unfair to completely dismiss someone,
Yeah,
Of course.
just because they're that.
This episode is sponsored by Honey, the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer.
Guys, how often do you shop online?
All the time.
All the time?
All the time. I don't go
Every
outside.
single
It's
day.
disgusting summer right now. I want to stay inside.
Well, how often do you feel like you have a promo code just ready to go at the checkout?
Never really.
Well, thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes are a thing of the past. Honey is a free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it can find to your cards for free.
Joey, what did you save money on using Honey?
I saved $15 on that Among Us plushie right there.
Amogus?
Oh my God.
Amogus.
Amogus. And it was so easy to use because did you know it doesn't just work on desktop, it works on your iPhone too. Just activate it on Safari on your phone and boom, you can save on the go, boys.
Oh my God.
If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. And by getting it, you're doing yourself a solid and us as well. So, what are you waiting for? Go to honey.com/trash taste. That's honey.com/trash taste.
Back to the episode.
Also, if a big social media presence was all it took to be cast in something,
Yeah.
I will say frankly, I would have booked a lot more other things that I was like really close to.
Right.
Like there have been projects like where I was like the runner-up.
Right.
I was either the runner-up guy or in the last 3 or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And in the end, they pick whoever they think is the best fit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
If it was frankly just like, that guy's got big Twitter numbers, we want the Twitter numbers. It's like, if that was alone the deciding factor, then I would have gotten it.
Right.
Which is like kind of a position of like, it's kind of nice and like, at least I'm not being like just, thought of as a number, but I'm also like, I wanted that part. So, but it's like also reassuring of like, oh, but it's not because of some bullshit
Yeah.
reason that whatever.
You should have more followers than you.
Yeah, exactly. But I also feel like for me, I don't get a lot of that backlash.
Yeah.
For some reason. I don't know. Maybe because I've been doing it for so long or whatever.
I think it's like maybe the first time a YouTuber who's also maybe like starts doing voice acting, maybe the first time they maybe get a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's also just because you're genuinely good. That's
Well, I
probably what
appreciate
it
it.
is.
Yeah,
Like,
Not very good.
if
are very,
you
very
weren't
good.
good, then I can see where the backlash is
Yeah.
coming from, right?
I mean, I
Because,
appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it would be clear if, you can tell if someone
Yeah, you can
not
tell
Yeah,
when
yeah,
someone
yeah,
sucks.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I occasionally got the comments of like, "Oh, it's pretty good for a YouTuber."
doing.
And everyone was like, and then like people would probably be, he literally has like voice actor in his name since like 10 years.
Right.
Like what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird because like sometimes when you do YouTube, especially when you're like more revolving around skits and comedy stuff, you forget that you are able to do serious voice acting as well, and your skill sets just are more broad than just haha funny guy on the internet.
Sure,
but it's
sure.
like sometimes hard to change the perception of that, especially to your audience
Yeah.
as well.
I mean, even live action actors deal with that, right? Like a lot of comedic actors who try to switch to the dramatic. They're like, oh, I can't take him seriously.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It's like, people like to put people into boxes, right? Of like,
Yeah, exactly.
You do this and only do that, funny man, or do this and don't
Yeah.
even think, which can be reductive.
Yeah, I mean, like, speaking of like live action acting, you've done that as well with you. How was the transition from like voice acting to doing something like, was it Anime Crimes
Anime
Division?
Crimes Division?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So wait, this is the Crunchyroll.
This is the Crunchyroll Freddie W.
Yeah.
Rocket Jump.
What was like the plot of this thing again?
The plot of Anime Crimes Division is we live in a neo-otaku city and we are detectives who solve anime crimes. And it was very fun. We did 2 seasons of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like a big, crazy experience for me because I had no real live action experience prior to
Right.
that. And it was definitely like a crash course, but I was fortunate in that I was with like the most welcoming crowd of people. Like I'm friends with Freddie already.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I told him like frankly like I wasn't even living here yet. I flew out to do it the first season and I was like, are you sure I'm going to be okay for this? And he's like, you'll be fine. Like he was like, you'll be great. And it it honestly worked out. Like it was super challenging.
Yeah.
Probably like one of the most like challenging things I've done. Like, I was the lead in it and there's so much dialogue. So it's like having to memorize all that dialogue. And in the second season, I do a whole choreographed fight sequence. That's like, that took like maybe 5-6 hours to learn and then to shoot maybe like even longer than that.
Right.
So it was definitely like a crazy experience, but I learned a lot of like how you do, live action filming.
Yeah.
Like hit your mark. I didn't know what, like, hitting your mark and
What does that mean?
hitting your mark is on a live action set. If you need to land at a certain spot for the camera, they put an X on there.
Right.
With tape or whatever. And they're like, okay, so like when you're walking up to this guy, hit this mark and whatever.
Then you got to not look at the mark.
Yeah. Just gotta do it as naturally as possible. Or
And then you got to remember your lines as well and act.
gotta remember
and
your
all that
lines
stuff.
and do other things.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely a big departure from voice acting, which 90% of the time you don't have to memorize anything.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing like motion capture.
Right.
And so that was a big help for me because later I did God of War Ragnarok,
Right.
where I had to again memorize lines that I had written also because they had me write for it, and that was I was doing it, and I was like, fucking idiot. Why did you give yourself so many lines? I have no one else to blame.
So
but
why were you writing the lines as well?
they specifically wanted me to do it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit.
Wait, what was the role?
The character is Ratatosker.
Right.
I can't say too much because it's not out yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
oh, wow.
Yeah, when you said God of War Ragnarok, I was like, that's not out yet.
It's not out yet.
Yeah, yeah.
But I have announced it. Like
Okay.
yeah. I'm not just casually spilling NDAs.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just like,
Caught in
well,
4K, luckily.
People know that I have written for it, acted in it, and did the motion capture.
that's
and,
fucking awesome.
And that I the name of the character, but
Okay.
I don't think they know anything else.
Right.
Oh,
are you allowed to talk about what kind of a process it is to do mocap?
I can talk about generally. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I've always found that super interesting. How like
Yeah.
there's live action, and then you see the behind the scenes of like it's like The Last
guy
of
in a
Us
suit
or like
flailing around.
the original like God of War. Like
Yeah.
how challenging is it being on a set and just having like a bunch of fucking ping
Load the
pong
ping
balls
pong
on
balls.
you?
It's definitely the outfit's really goofy.
Yeah.
For me, I had to do these things where you, they're like filming you, and before you shoot, you do like sort of like a motions. You're doing
Right.
motions and like making sure the model is like on like sync with you or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's like a whole thing. You have to like sometimes you gotta do like the facial capture as well, and they have like
Yeah.
this giant thing on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely like very like intimidating, but because I had done the anime crimes division, I was used to like, okay, just memorize your lines and
Yeah.
just go through the scene. And yeah, it was very a very fun experience.
Is it hard to like get in character when the entire like set on everything is just virtual and you just
No, because voiceover often you're just in a booth.
that's true.
Right?
That's
like
true.
unless you're dubbing anime or like sometimes with cartoons they give you the storyboards.
Right.
But oftentimes like in a video game or something or most things you have nothing.
Right.
Like you are just looking at a script. So
Yeah.
you have to imagine yourself in it anyway.
Yeah.
So actually having other actors to interact with was helped with the immersion more than when you're usually just alone in a booth.
Right.
I just remembered that you voiced one of the playable characters in Borderlands 3.
Yep.
I forgot what the name of the character was.
Flack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was like, oh, sick, dude. This is like, when everyone knew that it got announced. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that was one of like I think that was like the role of like, oh, like this is a big
Yeah,
role.
yeah.
I think
Yeah,
before
yeah.
that it'd been like, some indie stuff and like some things, but that was like the first sort of, like a lot of people know about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Is there like a particular franchise or series that is like the ultimate, like, I want to voice in this kind of thing that you haven't done yet?
do you have one?
Oh man, I feel like
JoJo.
I feel like if you say it, it's a curse. Right?
I know that.
Yeah, but obviously, I'd love to be in JoJo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure,
Some
sure.
pause.
But who knows when?
For me, I'll say it because I have the same feeling. Like I don't want to.
It's like a curse. If
Yeah.
you say it out
Yeah.
loud,
Yeah,
it's
it's
never
like-
gonna happen.
yeah.
Right. It could be a second.
Yeah.
No. This is one that like is very dear to my heart. And it's Ace Attorney.
Oh,
yeah.
I would lose my mind if I was in any Ace Attorney game or anything like that. Like because for me, that was one of the things I used to fan dub.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
I was like, I'll take because they didn't have voices. So I was like, I'll take this character, I'll give them a voice, and like I did it so much that like the fan community definitely associates my voices for characters
Yeah,
or some of the characters.
Yeah.
So like if I got a chance to be a part of that, that would definitely be like feel like a full circle. Like oh man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And like I've been fortunate enough that I've had that experience with like Borderlands was one where like I played Borderlands 2 when I was a kid and I was like one day I'll be able to do something like this, never thinking one day that the third one
Yeah.
would be I would be one of the main characters
Right.
in it.
Yeah.
So I've definitely been fortunate enough to because I'm also a big fan of this stuff,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love anime and video games like
Yeah.
actually I often tell people I'm like sometimes I wish I wasn't such a big fan because then I wouldn't be so crushed that I'm like, not in playing. I'm like, oh, I got to read for this, but I'm not in it. Like a lot of the older guard, they're like, I don't know what any of this shit is. What's this Japanimation? I don't know what any of this is. I don't play video games with this Pac-Man. I don't know. And I'm like, I know what this is. I've been playing this since I've been like 15 years old. You definitely have that like, attachment to it.
Yeah.
Get crushed when you don't get the role after you like sunk everything into the other.
I think at this point, you just get used to it.
Yeah.
I just assume I don't. I'm like,
That's the healthy way of doing it, right? Just assume you haven't got it, and if you get that email, sick.
Yeah. Just do that addition, send it. I'm like, if I'll hear back if I get it. Otherwise, just forget about it.
Yeah, I think the one person who I've seen get her like dream role recently, and it was weird seeing, because I've followed her career like basically since the beginning, was Kira Buckland.
Oh,
like, seeing her like be like the JoJo girl, right?
She wanted to be.
Yeah, and just like, because I remember back, she also started on like VAA, and just seeing her career just like
the voice of Jolene.
Yeah, the voice, and she recently just voiced Jolene in JoJo Part 6, and she fucking killed it. I'm like, damn, man, I'm fucking happy for her, because I've seen her like progress her career since the beginning.
It's another example of, again, like a lot of people who are working today are like, they've just been grinding and working at it forever, Like,
yeah. So you said you're a massive board game fan, and I've seen some of your videos like reviewing board games and everything as well.
To dismay of your YouTube.
To the dismay of like your entire audience, it seems like.
I will say though on that, like, even though I make fun of the fact that they don't get a lot of views, there was one time I think I did. So those of you who don't know, I in Tumblr days I did goofy covers, right?
Yeah.
And then everyone, that used to be the thing. Everyone was like, do another goofy cover, do another goofy cover. And I was like, if I become known as the goofy cover man, I'm going to walk into the ocean. Like, I cannot let this be my legacy. So I stopped. And then that was maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 8 years passed or whatever. And then for a charity milestone, I was like, okay, I will do a goofy cover. And then I was like, oh, this is kind of fun again. So I started doing it. But then like I posted one, and then someone was like, what the hell is this shit? Where are the board game reviews? I'm like, nothing I can do is will please anybody. Like, but I also was like, wow, the board game reviews have been around for so long that even then people are like, we want that. Like, they hate change. They hate any kind of this isn't what you do. You do the skits, eating 20 things, and these shitty board game reviews that don't do well. Not this. What is this thing? I'm like, okay, well, but yeah. Anyway, to answer
can't get a dub, man. Can't get a dub.
Sorry, you were asking.
Yeah, what are some board games you recommend? Because like I'm not so much into the board game scene, and so like I see someone like you, and I, occasionally watch some of your reviews and some of your videos. What to you makes a good board game?
What have you played, if anything?
Fucking
He's played
Monopoly.
I've made them play Ticket to Ride.
Oh yeah, we played Ticket to Ride.
That's a good game.
That's fun.
I really like Risk as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Ticket to Ride.
Yeah.
If you, let's see. Like, do you like cooperative games? Do you like more competitive games? Like, what's your style?
Let's say cooperative.
Cooperative. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Pandemic is like a good one to start. That one's you're running around the world trying to cure a disease.
Yeah.
And nowadays, and feel sad about how the real one's going. Like that one's good.
Maybe we should have played that before, like after 2-3 years ago.
Right now.
Right, that's a lot. We're in a fucking long campaign right now, right?
My favorite board game is Marvel Legendary, which is a cooperative deck building game. Deck building being like not like Magic, where you build previous decks, but it's like you have a market of cards. You ever play like Slay the Spire or something? Any of you?
I've never played Slay the Spire.
Okay, anyway.
Wait, I know of Slay the Spire. I know how it works, but I've never.
Deck building as a concept is like you have these random cards. You slowly start adding them to your basic deck, and then like get rid of your shitty cards, and your deck becomes stronger as you go.
Right.
Inscription.
Yes, Inscription is a deck building game. Yeah,
Inscription was really, really good.
Yeah,
it was an amazing game.
So like a lot of the deck building ones are really good. I mean, I don't know. It really just depends on what you
value.
There's so many games and styles of games that, like,
the sheer amount of reviews you've done,
Yeah.
is just like, oh my god,
Yeah, I saw like the table that you got given
dude!
as well, which is
I'm obsessed with this table.
yeah, it looks so fucking
so
cool.
sick.
This table he got is like the best fucking thing ever.
I mean, you want to come see it?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I would like to get that table just to play board games. You know? I'll get that table first, and I'm just like, okay, now I need some board games to play.
Is it bad that I think I remember the name? Is it the Woodworm table or something?
The Wormwood.
Wormwood,
Wormwood
fuck.
is the company.
Okay,
Right.
It's this table that just like it's a normal table, and then it just all comes off with magnets. There's cup holders that can slide around. And there's just a playing area with like felt. It looks amazing.
It's beautiful. Like, I was using my kitchen table for the longest time with a mat.
Right.
And that was fine, but then like this thing, I'm like, oh, it's so good. Like, because the table topper, before this, whenever we ordered food or whatever, and the game's on the table, it's like, all right, everyone, go stand awkwardly in the kitchen and like eat off my counters or whatever.
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, great, put the toppers on, we can eat on top. It's so good. Cup holders, it's beautiful.
It's awesome, dude. This
Yeah.
thing is awesome.
Yeah, I want that's like the premium board game experience that I want. How did you get how did that hobby start? Was that something you were always like into, and then you just kind of like grew from there? What?
It started from I was at an Otakon back in like, I want to say like 2012 or something. Like,
Right.
It might even be, maybe around then.
Is Otakon in?
That's in. It used to be in Baltimore, now in DC.
Okay.
Right.
And just a group of friends and I, we were at there's a Barnes and Noble in the Inner Harbor where that con used to be, and none of us had really played a lot of designer board games or whatever. We saw a game called Forbidden Island, which is a great game actually.
Right.
And the cover was cool. It had a silly name. We're like, oh, what is this? Like, let's just buy it. Like, if it's stupid, we'll just, it's fun. Let's just try it.
Yeah.
And if it's
Yeah,
great, and we were really into it. It's a cooperative game where like you're trying to collect these artifacts and the island is sinking and you have to get off like in time or whatever.
Yeah.
Simple in design, but very fun. And we were like, oh shit, this is great. Like, are there other games like this? And so it became like
a rabbit hole.
We would, like I often introduce a lot of people to the hobby.
Right.
Like, oh, have you tried this? And then they're like, oh shit, like board games can be like this, because a lot of people associate it with like
Monopoly.
Yeah.
Or even like, for me, Catan I find kind of dull. Like, I had played Catan prior and I was like, this is fine, I don't really give a shit. But Forbidden Island, I was like, oh, okay, these can be like, and now I play like everything.
Yeah.
Because then you discover like there's a website called Board Game Geek that like, ranks all the games, and it becomes, and then people started gifting me games. And, so it really just snowballed after that.
Some of the complexity of those board games is just insane.
Yeah.
The learning curve, right?
There's some that are like multi-day things, right? Like
They could be, well, I think multi-day might be an exaggeration, but there's definitely ones that I've played that have taken like maybe like 12 hours.
Jesus.
Like, that's like, all right, come at like in the morning and we will be done at like 11 p.m. Like,
That's a commitment, man.
Yeah. And for me, actually, the sweet spot is like middle complexity.
Yeah.
Light to middle.
Yeah.
Because I like complex games, but they're harder to get to the table because only like diehards are going to want to like play those.
It's hard to
Yeah.
teach it to people.
It's hard to teach
Right.
people.
Yeah.
It's intimidating and oftentimes very hard to, just get into.
Yeah.
So the sort of like on Board Game Geek, they sort of from like 1 to 5 scale.
Right.
Like the 2 to 3 scale is usually like perfect because it's like 1 to 2 is like party games, which are fun, but 2 to 3 is like there's some meat on these bones, but it's not that hard to grasp. Once you get to 3 to 4, that's a little beefier. 4 and up is like that is complex. Like it is.
Do you have like a good like gate, like you want to get someone into board games? Do you have like a good gateway game you like that you always bring out to be like, hey,
Monopoly.
here's a little thing to like whet your appetite just to see like what this hobby could
where
be
would
about.
Monopoly be on that difficulty scale? Is it a 1?
I think it's probably. I could even search right now. My guess is like 1 or something.
Okay.
Maybe
Right,
2.
right.
Like maybe with the trading, it's slightly, but you're literally just rolling dice and
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
stuff. Let's see, a good gateway game.
Like, what's the Attack on Titan of board games? You know, like,
I mean, Ticket to Ride.
Yeah,
I'm
I feel like Ticket to Ride is a really good introduction.
That's a good one just because it's so simple and like you're
Yeah.
just making sets and like making. I don't care if this is not protocol on here. I'm pulling up.
You can do it. Because I like Ticket to Ride because I find that there is a way. For me, it's like if you can have the opportunity to strategize and really like implement it while still having that luck factor.
Yeah.
And where a noob could just completely get lucky and beat you. Like I like that.
That's what I really like about Risk. It's
Yeah.
exactly the same thing where it's like it looks really intimidating because it's such a big game.
Yeah.
But then when you
Yeah.
actually get into it and you learn the rules, you can very quickly start strategizing.
Find out.
So some good ones like Azul is a very elegant, like sort of abstract game with like really nice tiles.
Right.
That one has like there's different ones in the series. There's like Azul, Stained Glass of Sintra, and it's just like it has the feel of like a game that's been around for like decades, but it's a newer.
What'd you do in that game?
It's hard to explain without visuals, but you have these circles of tiles and you're drafting colors of tiles and you're sort of filling up rows.
Okay.
And you're trying to get them in like an array and make combos.
Right, okay.
Which is completely impossible to explain without me actually having the pieces.
Yeah,
Right.
But it has the feel
Rudan,
of
you do your best, Rudan.
yeah. So there's that one. Like a really popular one is like Codenames. Have you ever played that one? Do you know that one?
I've never heard of it.
Codenames is like you have a grid of words, and one person or each team has a code name or code master or whatever,
Right.
And they give a clue like furry 3, and your team is trying to like pick which of these three words fit that clue. But the thing is, if you touch a clue of the other team's words, they get the point.
Right.
And there's a kill word where if anyone touches that, they instantly lose.
Oh,
So it's
cool.
like
That sounds
an
really
array
fun.
of like I think like 25 words. Half of them are red on the back, half of them are blue.
Yeah.
Not on the back. There's like a little card, and then the half of them are blanks, which are like duds, and then
Yeah.
one is a kill card.
Right,
So it's like a
right.
really like elegant, just like, hey, this is this. I basically just explained how to play it now.
Yeah.
You
That
just
sounds
say
really
a
fun,
word
actually.
and a number, and that's
Yeah.
how many fit that thing, and you're like, okay,
It's a good party game.
it's a really good party game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write these down.
Yeah.
Luckily, we have,
luckily it's being filmed right now, right?
Exactly. Dixit, you know Dixit?
Oh, I love Dixit.
Dixit's very, very
That's
good
a really
game.
fun game.
That is one where you're playing these surreal picture cards, and you're trying to give a clue as to like
It's like reverse Pictionary almost.
the idea is that you want to give a clue so that not everyone picks the card, because if everyone picks the card, then you get fucked. But if nobody picks your card, you get fucked. So you're trying to give a clue that's just obscure enough where it's like, because what happens is you put down the card and everyone else puts down a card that
Right.
matches that clue.
Right,
And
right.
everyone's trying to figure out which one was the original card.
Right,
So if I
right.
said like mysterious or whatever, and I put down a card and everyone else puts down a card, then we reveal them and everyone's like, which one was the original mysterious card?
Right.
One that's fun in that game as a clue is Super Mario Brothers 3. Because then there's so many surprisingly like fitting cards for
Right.
for like or like something like that, or you say a video game or like DreamWorks movies or something, and then like people are you reveal them they all look like fucking DreamWorks movies.
Yeah, all the cards look like Salvador Dali paintings. They're like really abstract.
They're all really
Okay.
strange, like
Yeah.
surreal paintings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's really fun.
That one's really
Yeah.
good. Forbidden Island I mentioned is a really fun co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are like just some very like basic level ones. to
That
start.
sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for the
Yeah,
recommendation.
thank you for the recommendations.
Future Trash Taste After Dark episodes.
Yeah, hell yeah, I'm down. You're just giving us content
Yeah.
ideas now. That's
Hell yeah.
perfect. Yeah. So moving on from that, I guess I saw you got some flack on like TikTok the other day for like calling, what was it, Chihaya Furu, like a niche anime.
Yeah, sure. Which do you disagree?
I don't disagree.
I agree.
I was asked. No,
Wait.
Sorry, so
What was the statement?
I agree that it is a niche anime.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
wondering why you were getting
Yeah.
flack for it.
That Chihaya Furu is a niche anime.
Have you heard of it, Connor?
The one with the
Karuta
yeah,
one.
the matching the card.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
matching
yeah.
the cards thing.
I'd say it's on borderline. Like I know I know what it is, but I mean, like I don't know many people.
Well, because
watch
like
it.
Karuta is like a subculture where if you're really not into
I'd
like
say it's niche.
Japanese subculture, then it's hard to grasp.
I'd say it's niche.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
niche.
the reason, well, it was just a very simple video where they're like, "How do you prove that you're the real ProZD?" And I was like, "Well, I have a custom-made figure from the niche anime Chihaya, which I specifically, when I was making it, I was like, at first I was gonna say, I was like, should I say obscure? I was like, no, if I say obscure, people are gonna be like, and I was like, okay, I'll say niche because niche is different than obscure.
Yeah.
Niche just means like, oh, it's more geared towards like a specific subset.
Yeah.
Niche can have a little more of a positive connotation.
Obscure means not well known, like a hidden, like not well known.
Yeah.
Niche is like, oh, it's more like this audience than
It's
you know.
niche.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely niche.
It's niche.
Whether it's obscure, I mean, I might even call it obscure nowadays because you look at like how popular anime is nowadays, and like 90% of anime fans, I think, do not know Chihaya
I would say it's
Furu.
obscure for Western audiences.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
you know, in
definitely,
Japan it does
definitely.
really well.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
like, yeah, you ask your average anime fan,
Yeah.
which is again which I'm
Which you're basing
judging
it
it.
off, right?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
If I ask like anime Twitter,
Yeah.
you know what Chihaya Furu is. At
Yeah.
least you've heard of it, right? But if I ask like, you know, I in a future later TikTok, I was like, yeah, I've been to guests at cons, and I'll do a Q&A. It's filled like hundreds of people. I'll be like, anyone here watch Chihaya Furu? One guy.
Yeah,
exactly, right, exactly.
Or anyone know what it is? Like 5 people, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people who are like, especially like anime fans or like have been anime fans for a very, very long time, they forget how widespread it's become now, and how some popular animes back in the day are just like not well known now at all. Like it's weird to think that even like, you know, something like Gurren Lagann is how many years old now? And
About like 15 years.
it's like 15 years old, and that's like I would even say to like the modern anime fan, like that seems like a niche anime now to like a lot of new anime fans.
I remember, you just reminded me, there was this moment where I was like going on about like a bunch of shows on my Twitch.
Yeah.
And then I started a poll. Oh, we were talking about Haruhi.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I started a poll saying, because I saw a couple of people being like, I've never heard of it. And so I was like, okay, mods, start a poll. Who has seen Haruhi?
Yeah.
And it was legit 50-50.
Wow.
And I'm like, and it just like put into perspective, like, oh yeah, like there's been a lot of shows since Haruhi.
Yeah.
Even though like for, you know, our generation, Haruhi was like inescapable. Back then.
It was like the high
the
school
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really like Haruhi that much.
Did you watch
Yeah.
all of it?
You're gonna be like, yeah, of course. I stopped watching during the fucking Endless 8.
Oh, right,
Of course.
But it was so boring.
That's the point.
Why the fuck would I want to watch it if it's boring?
It's art. It's art. Okay. I will say
Yo, disappearance makes it worth it. Though.
the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya is a fucking amazing end.
So I told these boys the story before, but I actually watched the disappearance before I watched anything else. I was very confused and bored. And you want to know how it happened?
How?
This was back when I just became an anime fan, right? So naturally, where am I going to go to find recommendations for shows?
Yeah.
My anime list.
Yeah.
What was one of the highest?
Really
rated-
highly rated.
What was one of the
Disappearance, yeah.
highest, like top 5 rated things? The disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya.
Yeah.
I didn't know about any other shows, so I just watched it, and I was like, "Damn, this sucks ass. Why is everyone saying this is good?"
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna absolutely kill you.
So this is. I watched it when I was like, 17.
Did you also watch Haruhi in chronological order or some shit?
I watched it in the.
Broadcast order?
I watched it in the actual order of the episodes, not.
Yeah, the broadcast order. Right?
broadcast
Yeah,
order,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saved yourself there.
Yeah.
At least.
So, but this was like years after I watched the disappearance.
Yeah.
Did you watch Disappearance again afterwards?
I have not. I should probably do that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
also-
Well,
Yeah.
you need to finish Endless 8 first. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean,
I will say the best thing about it was probably just like watching it like dubbed. Crispin Freeman was really good.
Yeah.
even though you had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, but he was so good. I mean, he's good in everything though.
Yeah. I mean, he's just one of those voice actors where it's just like a pleasure to like just to hear him act.
But I mean, that was okay. I even the first season, I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Did you watch Avengers Endgame without watching anything else?
That's actually a good That's actually a good comparison.
I watched some of the other things.
Okay. Oh, some of them. That's good.
I didn't watch Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Sorry, are you annoyed?
I don't want to look at you right now.
Wait, no, you start One Piece in Alabasta, right? That's how you watch One Piece, right?
Peddling it back. So what was the backlash significant? Because you called the show name.
It wasn't significant.
It was like anime fan backlash.
I was just like also teasing, but like it was definitely. I'm sure you guys also do this too. Like when I make a tweet, sometimes I'm like writing something. I'm like, okay, I'm like thinking of like how people will be like, well, actually, okay, so change this word to this. So they want to like I have to like explain the joke or whatever, or make it like clear. I don't mean this, not this. Like
to be honest though, it's just not worth it because like top 10 easiest things to do in the world. Number 1 is breathe, and number 2 is piss off anime fans.
Sure,
like, it's just like not worth it.
I feel like there are like different levels, right? Because if you're talking about most
him off in like 10 seconds.
Exactly. Like you talk about most anime, I feel like there's some leeway. But if you have an opinion on any shonen anime, then you are literally like going to a battlefield. You know, you are literally stepping on minefields at that point. And I feel like you say anything and you'll get like some kind of backlash.
Sure,
it's also just really funny though.
It is.
But you don't watch many recent shows, right? You love the classics.
It's not that I avoid recent shows, but it's more like I have less time to watch stuff now. So for me, it's more I want
to pick and choose, right?
I pick and choose. So oh man, I mean, I'm at the perfect spot. I do want to talk some anime. So like,
go on.
I haven't seen like Demon Slayer or Jujutsu Kaisen yet.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm not going to watch these things. It's more like, I don't know. I'm watching Maria Watches Over Us. Do you know that one?
No, wait.
That is the Yuri Catholic high school girl anime. It's very good. No, it's
Maria
like it's not,
Watches Over Us. That sounds familiar.
It's Mari Mite or something might be what the fans call it or something. It is a 4-season show about high school Catholic girls and yes.
Oh, this is in 2004. Holy shit!
Yeah, I just watched the 4th season of that. Like
now this is obscure.
Yeah, that's obscure.
This is like when I first met you.
Yeah.
Speaking about you like anime. I was like I like anime. He started naming shows and I was like oh fuck. I was like I'm not like this kind of anime.
Yeah.
Like, I know.
I'm not a loser.
I'm like a medium level of knowledge.
Yeah.
Whereas like you're getting deep. With
I
that.
don't even think I've seen that.
No, this is like before I started watching things seasonally. So how did you find this anime?
So it's funny you mentioned my anime list. I don't use my anime list. Since I first started my weeb journey, I've used Anime News Network's top anime.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize they had a top anime list.
Nobody does. Everyone uses my anime list.
Yeah.
But Anime News Network, if you go to their there's a top 100, and you can. Oh boy, I'm such a loser. You can sort it by Bayesian like estimate and like rank, and it ranks it the top 500.
Right.
And like it does up like that's how I found Chiafuru.
Right.
I go to that list for like what's on here. If something pierces the top 100, I know it's worth watching. So like Odd Taxi pierced it,
Right. Yeah.
Or and I watched that, and Ranking of Kings pierced it,
Yeah.
So I watched that.
Fucking amazing.
Like when I watch new stuff, I'm like, okay, if it hit the top 100 on that website, then I'm like something special.
Real
about
shit.
this.
Yeah, because like I feel like with a lot of the new shit that's popular right now, like things like Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen, they're good. You know, they're good
And
shows.
they do well on that site, like because they're good. I mean, I haven't seen them, but from what I understand, they're like good quality
good.
shows.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
I love
But like I feel like if you've watched any shonen before, it's kind of the same thing. It's the same formula. It's just good.
I want it again.
Yeah. Like
I want it again.
Like fucking Shonen Jump have just got this thing on lockdown. They've
got the formula.
They've just got the formula down
Yeah.
because anytime they release a show, it's always good. You can't like. You know, you kind of know what to expect. There are like differences in every show, but you get the same feeling every time. You know,
exactly.
and so like you don't need to be in a rush to watch like Jujutsu Kaisen, except if you just want to talk to people about it nowadays. You just want to be in the in.
Yeah.
But like with a lot of like more obscure shows, you know.
Is that the hot button word?
I guess so. I guess it is now.
Let's do it.
That show is very obscure. Too.
That is an obscure show.
My only problem with my anime list top 100, because I have looked at it, is that I feel like new shows get favored really quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like to be on anime news networks, like to get up there, it has to be like really good.
Yeah.
Where sometimes I'll see stuff on there and I'm like, I'm sure it's good, but I think this is just on here because it's new.
Yeah.
My anime list also has this like weird like it also gets weirdly political as well because it's like there's this like I've noticed there's this hardcore dedicated group of people on my anime list who are like, if Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is not number one, we riot.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just this dedicated group that just does everything that they can to try and keep certain shows in certain places,
Yeah.
no matter what.
See, not enough people care about Anime News Network's ratings, so it's actually like pretty accurate.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I remember that happened when Your Name came out.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was getting really close to being number one.
Yeah.
And then there was this whole like coup d'etat happening of like, no, we must keep Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood at number one.
Yeah.
And then they succeeded.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like the Gintama fans would be like, we want every season of Gintama in the top 10
Here's the
at
thing.
all times.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I've only seen a little bit of Gintama. I do intend to watch all of it at some point.
Yeah.
But
It's amazing.
Gintama, all those seasons and movies, those pierce Anime News Network. So I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this has got to be.
They're all
like-
great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
exactly.
do need to watch
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So this tells a lot about the type of person I am. My goal at one point is to have watched everything in the top 100 on Anime News Network.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
that's why I watched Maria Watches Over season 4. That's
Right.
why I finished. Have you seen? I mean, I'm sure you have. Clanad After Story.
Of
course.
Of course.
Yeah, I didn't. I watched Clan. Is it Clanad?
Clanad.
What?
Clanad?
Clanad.
Yeah.
I watched it like when it came out, and I never finished it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
The
like,
first season, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
because it wasn't that good. And then the like 2 weeks ago, I was like, all right, I'm gonna finally watch it, and yeah, I was surprised. It was surprisingly good. The
After Story is very sad.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
Very sad.
that last quarter without
Yeah.
spoiling anything. I was like, this is great.
I think it's fair game to spoil Planet After Story.
I
at
haven't
this
seen
point.
After Story.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It turns into a different show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
completely
it's
different.
great.
It's the build up of the first season that makes the second season
See,
so heavy.
it was the first season that killed it for me.
Right.
Me too.
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
it is with a lot of people, to
Yeah.
be fair.
I saw how highly rated After Story was, and I thought I'll watch it for
Yeah.
After Story.
Yeah.
I would never normally watch Planet nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm too.
Yeah.
I'm too like
Season,
quick to
yeah,
turn off.
Planet Season 1 is pretty tough to watch nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The characters are like the worst archetypes of every kind of anime person ever.
Except Kyo.
Yes, I love Cure.
Yeah, Kyo's the best.
Yeah.
Okay. Man of taste.
Yeah,
Man of
I love
taste.
Kyo.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree with you with the My Anime List thing though. With like, there's a lot of recency bias on there. Where if there's like a new popular show,
Or like Spy
it-
Family getting like
yeah.
Oh my, it's a 10 out of 10. There's only 3 episodes out, but it's the
Yeah.
best anime ever made.
But like,
Guys, quick.
Sometimes I look at the top 100 on Mao and I'm just like, am I the old one? is the show that good, or am I just like the tired
just-
critic?
Okay, well,
Yeah.
what's one you feel that way about? Where you're like,
He hasn't watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
really?
I haven't.
Have
Only
you read the manga?
I
Oh, he's just making an excuse.
okay. Everyone has that
making
one show.
excuses.
Everyone has that one fucking
Have you?
show.
Don't tell me you've only seen the 2003 anime.
I haven't watched any because
Any of it,
like
okay, thank
because like the reason is that like I remember like when I started getting into anime. You know, you watch banger after banger after banger. You're like, anime's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then you watch a bit more, and you're like, fuck, am I gonna run out of good anime? So like,
So you're saving it for a rainy day.
yeah. So mentally, I was just like, I'm gonna save Full Metal Alchemist because I know I'm gonna like it.
This is such
I'm gonna
bullshit.
save it for
This
a
is
rainy
bullshit,
day.
yeah. This is
Yeah. And then
complete
like it's
bullshit.
just been years later, and I just haven't.
I know what you mean though, because I'm like that with Hunter x Hunter. Because
Well,
like,
Alchemist is better
because it's
than
like I know so much about the show just through osmosis that like when I talk about certain parts of the show, people just think that I've seen the show, but I haven't actually sat
Yeah.
down and read it or watched it.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So
So,
I get what you mean.
yeah. So like an example, I'm looking at the list now, and like the new season of Demon Slayer is the 23rd best anime of all time. I'm just like, did the new Demon Slayer slap? Yes.
Yes, but 23rd of all time.
Is it the 23rd of all time?
That's just because people watched the last 3 episodes. The animation was insane, and they were
Yeah.
hyped as fuck.
Just like to compare.
went
Again,
to-
this is going to be not interesting.
Gave it
Well,
a 10.
actually, will this be interesting to your audience?
I think it's
This will be
Do
interesting.
you
for the
still have
anime
weebs
fans.
listening to this?
Yeah. I mean, we
Weebs
like,
stand up.
We like to pretend every now and again that we still watch out.
So
We're an
that's
anime
Demon Slayer
podcast.
3, you said? You said that was 23rd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to compare on Anime News Network, that is at, let me pull it up. So to compare on Anime News Network, that's at like 209. But that's really good out of
Yeah.
the thousands of shows that have you know.
Yeah.
I fucking love these green bars. It makes I don't know why, it makes my fucking brain go.
Yeah, you know, it's great, right?
We always had these like really pleasing data bars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
so they do like arithmetic mean, weighted mean, Bayesian estimate.
Yeah.
Bayesian estimate is what I go by.
All right, I got to look at this list because like going down again.
Yeah,
like
if you go to my Anime News Network
Yeah.
Anime News Network right now, go to go to what is it? God, so interesting.
like I'm looking down. I'm like 86 Part 2 is the 46th best anime of all time. No. So I like 86 as well. I like 86, but.
No, I'm in it, but I haven't seen it.
That's a flex.
So
I don't need to see it.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's all army stuff, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
My guy was always like, "You got to go in." I don't remember some kind of military operations. I don't know. So go to Encyclopedia, click top 10.
All right.
and then you can click the top 50, and you can go to like top 100. And then
Anime-
there's 100 top 100, top 250, top 500. So right now, Brotherhood is number 1 on there, but I think that's just it's
Wow,
crazy.
that's just like crazy.
I do think Brotherhood deserves.
I mean, it's
number one.
great. It is great.
It's a great package. It's got everything.
Manga's better, but it's great.
Yeah.
It's got
Yeah.
everything.
yeah.
It does everything amazingly in the show.
Yeah, it's a great show.
and it's
but-
and it's you know it chose it was like we're going to be 64 episodes. We're going to do it perfectly.
So let's compare. Someone pull up my anime list top 10,
you got it.
Oh, okay, I had it. Yeah. So
and I'll compare the top 10 on Anime News Network.
So
Number
both number ones are Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist.
number 2 on here is Steins Gate.
Ooh, that's interesting.
It was like it was that on my anime list for a while. I remember.
Number 2 on here is Gintama.
That new weeb
One
show.
of those.
Let's go. Okay.
Number 3 is Steins Gate actually.
Number 3 on here is Clannad After Story.
Oh, okay. Clannad.
Number 4 is Your Name.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 4 on this one is Attack on Titan Season 3 Part 2.
Okay. Number 5 on here is Rurouni Kenshin Trust and Betrayal. That's the Samurai X OE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. Number 5, number 8, number 9 are all Gintama.
Jesus. Okay. Number
Joey,
6,
what are you
As a
doing?
Gintama fan, yeah, boy.
number 6 on here is Code Geass Season 2, which sucked ass, but that's fine.
Yeah, the ending.
The ending.
Yeah,
though,
the
the
ending,
ending. I still
That whole
think.
show sucks.
I still think.
Oh my god.
I
whole
think
show
Code
sucks.
Geass has like the best ending in all of anime.
agree.
I can't think of a better. I can't think of a better ending.
Full Metal
I agree.
Alchemist Brother. That's a pretty good ending. It's a pretty good ending. It's true. It's
That's
a
true.
pretty damn good ending.
That's true. That's true.
I think what you said could be true if that's the only anime you've ever seen. But
can't believe I'm getting called out like that.
7 is Spirited Away, then Cowboy Bebop. Number 9 is Mushishi Season 2.
Yeah.
which is
which
very
I
good.
love
Which
Mushishi.
is very good.
Mushishi's like top.
Yeah.
10
See,
for
like
me.
this one is like number 7 is like the new Kaguya-sama, which I don't think has even ended.
It's not
yet.
finished yet. Yeah.
That's not
See, that's my
ended
problem
yet.
with this list.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
You gotta wait till the show's done. Of
Yeah, right,
The show
right.
could turn to a big turd, like at
You
the
gotta.
end
You've
point.
also got to give it some time after it's finished too, so that like people can like process.
process it. Yeah.
I read the My Anime List reviews when there's only like 2 episodes out. They're like, I'm gonna review the whole show now. I'm just gonna.
Yeah. I love the My Anime List reviews of people who dropped the show,
Yeah.
and they're just like, I watched the 2.5 episodes of this, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. 10 out of 10. It's like, all right.
What do you think you need to like watch an entire show to review it? Because who was it
Yes.
that went through this? Some critic went through
Oh,
this.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, some critic.
Well,
Your movie sucks.
yeah,
right?
you're
Yeah, your movie sucks,
Yeah.
right?
you
Who
wouldn't watch all the movies to the end because you'd get. But I think if you drop a show, like I feel like if you're giving it praise, I feel like you can't give it praise and only have watched half of it.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
that's
like
true.
that doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
If you drop a show, it's got to be normally a negative review. Right?
Where do you all stand on that? Like the whole, can you review a movie or a show without having watched all
if
of
the
it?
movie is so bad or boring or uninspired and you're halfway through it, I think it's totally valid to be like, listen, I've got a bunch of other movies to watch.
Yeah.
This clearly isn't gonna. It's already been so bad in the first 50 minutes.
Yeah.
How is it going to turn it all around?
But here's the question: in a reviewing capacity, though, as a viewer, I think, of course, yeah, you don't have to watch every finish.
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
But if you're gonna definitively be like, this movie is bad or this movie is good, but you don't watch the whole thing, do you think that's valid?
If your job is a movie reviewer, I think it's valid. You're watching so many movies.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on like. I think it depends on like a case by case basis, but like at the end of the day, if a piece of media is so bad that a reviewer cannot finish it. You know, that even if it gets better,
a powerful statement.
Then it's a powerful combination.
Shut the fuck up.
If an anime is bad up to a certain point, then you got to admit that there is something about the show that a lot of people would not be able to get through because it is bad. But in a reviewing capacity,
see, I completely disagree. I mean, not with you, but with you, I think.
You can disagree with me.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We already did.
yeah,
I think if you're going to definitively review something, you have to watch the whole thing.
Okay,
I think that's the minimum you have to do.
Especially when it's a TV series as well, I feel.
Yeah, like
Because it can very quickly change and turn among
I mean, we brought up
different episodes.
Clannad, right?
Yeah.
Clannad, like, you know, I could not authoritatively be like, Clannad is bad all the way through, or it's just bad. Because when I finally sat down and watched, and like the last 11 episodes are quite good.
But
counterpoint then, because I got okay.
Sure.
Do you think you need to watch all of One Piece in order to be able to review it?
Yeah.
Right?
Like there's some shows where the length is so absurd
that
like it would be completely unrealistic to expect like a reviewer who's their job to get through all of this media.
Yeah.
And also, imagine how much you would fucking hate your job if you were like, I have to review One Piece.
And that's why I stopped reviewing anime.
I think with One Piece, you're not gonna no one is gonna be like, I'm gonna review all of it as a whole. Usually, if you're reviewing One Piece, you're going like episode by episode, or at least arc by arc.
Yeah, because like I feel like you need to watch enough of something to at least get a taste or a feeling about what this show is about and what it can achieve. Because like to me, if I hear someone like judge One Piece, I ask, okay, how far have you gotten, right? Yeah. Like if someone drops it in like the first few arcs, I'm just like, well, you didn't even scratch the surface into what One Piece can do. If they watch until Alabasta, they still don't like it, I'm like, okay, I understand. Maybe One Piece just isn't for you at that point,
I think it's all about like what percentage of the overall show you actually consume, right? Because it's like, you know, if you, as you said with the One Piece thing, if you only watched like up until the Alabasta arc, you know, in retrospect, that's a very small percentage of the show. That's only a bite size.
Still fucking massive.
We still have to be specific though on reviewing capacity.
Yeah.
And just casual viewing. Of course, no one has to watch all of One Piece to be like, it's not for me.
Yeah.
Like if you're just watching, you're like, I'm not really into it. Like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And I often tell people, I say, kind of like what you said, if you watch Arlong Park and after that still don't give a shit, then I don't think it's gonna work for you.
Yeah. Exactly.
For me, it's like, okay, let's say, like you said, as a casual viewer, it doesn't matter if you drop it, right?
Yeah.
But for me as well, it's like if the reviewer also feels the same way where he's like, I'm cutting out here. I'm like, okay, that's something I can kind of relate to. Because I wouldn't sit through it and just dredge through it just because I feel like I have to finish it.
It's going to depend on the context of what the reviewer is doing, right? If the reviewer is like, if someone just asking, what do you think about One Piece? It's like, oh, I watched up to this point, it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
That's fine. But if you're putting out like a video like, is One Piece good or bad or whatever, like
that's such a loaded question as well.
and also, you know, bringing in like a long show like One Piece, then you're gonna have some exceptions. Because that would be something you would expect to be reviewed in chunks.
Yeah,
right.
But if it's a 12 episode show, then I think,
it's like, or even like a 2 core, like watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
And a movie in particular, it's like,
I do agree. Like with a movie, you should finish it before you review it. I mean, you can stop, you know, as a viewer, but if you're reviewing it, if it's a movie, I do think you should.
I don't know, right? I can only imagine the life of a movie reviewer as hell, because you have to watch. Most films are mediocre, like that come out, right?
Yeah.
Like think about all the movies that came out last year, and how many of them?
Well, that's true with like every piece of media, right?
That's
like,
truth. Yeah.
Was it like Sturgeon's Law or something?
I would not expect any sane human to sit through all of these movies and then be like, yeah, this was really, really bad, but I just finished it. Because to me, it's like if the first half was super shit, but it got amazing in the second half, that it would still lose marks or points in your head for having the really shit first half.
Yeah.
Like I dropped 86. Everyone got really annoyed that I didn't like 86. I just thought it was so boring, and I watched 9 episodes of a show.
Yeah.
That is so much time.
But you're not reviewing it. You're just viewing it.
No, I know, yeah, but I mean, I guess I gave my.
But he gave his opinion on Trash Taste, therefore he's a reviewer now.
So I said it was just boring, and I didn't enjoy it. And I was 9 episodes.
I mean, listen, I watched 1 episode of No Game No Life, thought it was dog shit, and stopped watching. So I'm with you. Like, I do intend to sit down and watch it at some point and actually watch it. But as a casual viewer, I was like, I don't like this at all. But like, I think
It's a good show.
Yeah. Even with them, like
The movie was fucking
okay.
boring, but the TV series was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think also some shows are just not for me. But
Of course.
fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think with the movie, I mean, I don't know. I do board game reviews, right?
Yeah.
I played a lot of shit games.
Yeah,
and those take even longer than movies. Some games take like 6 hours to play, and you're done. You're like, that was throughout horrible. I guess for me, if I'm gonna review something,
you wanna.
I have to be like, because there can be aspects near the end. Sometimes you watch a movie and you're like, the last 30 minutes. It got really interesting. And
And vice versa.
I guess that's why with reviewers, it's kind of like, you got to find the reviewer that you kind of have the similar outlook on movies or media.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, I like it when my reviewer is like, this movie was so shit, I had to drop it 50 minutes in. Even though it's my job to finish this, it's that bad that I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when it's that bad, but like I think there's a lot of like anime, especially where it's like, the first half or the first couple of episodes is like really fucking a weak start, right? But it could have an ending that's like surprisingly good. And I feel with anime, there's a lot more where it's vice versa, where the start is really strong,
and then they drop the ball.
and then the ending is just dog shit. Like Dead Man Wonderland's like a great example, where it's like first couple of episodes were fucking like, oh my god, this is insane, and then it was just dog shit near the end, right? But like you wouldn't have known that, and the manga as well, right? But like you wouldn't have known that if you didn't stick through to the end.
Yeah. I mean, that's like most seasonal anime nowadays, where you watch the first 3 episodes and you're like, damn, this fucking slaps.
Like they put all the effort into the first 3.
Yeah, exactly, right?
It's just because of the way that they make manga, right? Like you have to have the good initial sales.
They got to hook you in.
So they go crazy with the first few chapters, and then they're like, "Oh shit, we didn't plan this far ahead." It falls off. But like Clanad, right? I would never judge someone and be like, "That's fucked up." If they were like, "Clanad was so boring, I couldn't make it to After Story."
I totally.
I think that is
okay
very
with that.
fair. It's unreasonable to be like, you have to watch 25 episodes before it gets good.
Well, same with Steins
That's
Gate as
fucking
well, right?
stupid.
Like
Isn't it
Steins
weird?
Gate is like, it's like, the first 11 episodes are boring as shit, and I'm like, I kind of agree with that. But like, the second half is fucking incredible.
Yeah, I think bottom line, it's like, it just really depends on, for casual viewers, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
For reviewers, it's gonna, your mileage is gonna vary.
I think so.
Isn't it weird now that saying like you have to like suffer through 25 episodes and that just feels so long? But like back in the day, I remember I would gladly watch like 2 seasons of a show, like in order before it gets good. That was just like, okay, easy.
Naruto.
50 episodes of One Piece until Arlong Park. That's I can get through that in a fucking day.
50 episodes until Arlong Park.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god. Okay.
The anime
is very dragged
The anime
out.
pacing of One Piece is awful, which
God.
is why if you
Same with
get
DBZ, right? And like all those shows back then.
yeah. Right.
Going back to a topic we kind of touched on, let's talk about obscure anime.
Sure. Great. What do you want to talk
What
about?
are some obscure anime titles that you really like?
How obscure?
I know
are we
Joey's
going?
gonna
See,
say.
that's the thing. It's time to fight now, right?
I know Joey's gonna say Mononoke, right?
Mononoke.
Mononoke. I need to see that.
I think that's I think that's one of
Guess it's
the
obscure if
best.
You haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I would say it's really obscure. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mononoke is, I think, one of the best horror anime to be ever made.
Yeah.
Hands down. Like it's like genuinely the only show that actually creeped me out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's very difficult to do because there's a lot of really fucking mediocre horror anime out there.
Sure.
You know.
I mean, would you say like Legends of the Galactic Heroes is obscure? Because I don't
I
know
think
if
nowadays it would be.
because I've know like a lot of people.
I think prior to the reboot, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people who've heard of Legends of
Yeah.
the Galactic Heroes, but I hardly know anyone who's actually watched it. You know,
Right.
Because it's one of those shows where people put it on like their to watch list as like one of these shows they have to watch, and then no one never watches it.
Yeah, like a Brotherhood or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on the same level. It's about as obscure. That's a pretty obscure show, right?
Here's one that for me. Have you any of you seen Garakuta, Mr. Stain on Junk Alley?
I have not.
Could you say that
when
again?
did that come out?
Garakuta, Mr. Stain on Junk Alley. I think like 2005 or something.
Japanese name. Jerry normally sometimes knows the Japanese.
Yeah. Whatever the
I
Japanese.
think it might be just Garakuta. Google it.
I'm trying to figure out what your baseline for. Would you say Bokurano is obscure?
I haven't seen Bokuran. I know what it is.
Yeah, it's good. One of my favorite shows.
Is that the one we were talking about with the kids?
Yeah, yeah, I love
yeah,
that
yeah.
This is one of my all-time favorites.
I would say that because did you Google it? It looks bizarre. It's like a CG series of shorts.
Is this it?
Let me see. Got Akuta Mystery and Junk Alley.
I've
Does it look
never
like
seen that.
Mr. Stain on Junk Alley?
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
What is this?
Check it out sometime. It's hilarious.
This looks like a video game.
It, you gotta show
me
it.
this.
Yeah.
It looks like a PC game from like the 90s.
Oh, I see like the OG Funimation logo on this.
Yeah.
What?
No. Funimation put it out. They didn't dub it, but
What the fuck?
yeah. It
looks
is.
like
How did you find this anime?
A friend of mine was just like, "Hey, let's watch this." I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And it was great. Like at first, I thought it was just gonna be like stupid.
Yeah.
And it kind of is, but it's so weird and so entertaining. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Right.
Like it's just the weirdest, funniest. Like it's surreal. So that
The problem with a lot of obscure anime is that a lot of them are not that great. It's probably the reason why they're obscure as well. Like, because like it's really hard to find like a real diamond in the rough when it comes to anime because nowadays especially
People know about
so
shit.
many people are exploring the deeper
Everyone
sides
watches
of shit.
everything.
Yeah,
now.
that like now whenever
Yeah.
an obscure show does kind of pop out from under the ground, then people
Yeah.
are going to start talking about it. Right?
Sure.
I really want to watch more of those. You know when you see clips of like they people just post like 30 minutes like amazing animations from those like 80 OVAs.
Yeah.
I really want to watch more of those.
They're
but
like-
it's like
yeah.
because there seems to be so many cool OVAs from the
Dude,
80s.
there
Yeah,
are so
yeah.
many like
Like
80s and
insane
90s
animation.
OVAs
Yeah.
where it's just like I didn't think 120 frames per second anime existed until
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
saw the
yeah.
90s OVA era. Right?
I really want to watch some of those, but I'm just like, where the fuck do I even begin?
But even those like obscure 90s OVAs, like back then in like the early 2000s, they were like,
Yeah, they
well,
weren't
like
so
you know, like
obscure.
if you talk about like Genocyber or something, right, or like Violence Jack, where it's like no one fucking watched those back in the day, but now they're like so fucking obscure that people are talking about it again, and now they're
Yeah.
like more talked about than before.
Yeah.
So it's like because you know, I mean, I wouldn't say Genocide is a good show necessarily. It's violent as fuck. That's probably the reason why it's been talked about. But like, yeah, a lot of the problems with the obscure shows is that like most of them, in my opinion, are like a 5 out of 10, and that's why no one wants to talk about it.
But also, it's just like it's really interesting just to watch that like kind of like OVA period where it just seemed it felt underground, you know,
Yeah.
like where it just felt like anime went through this like edgy teen phase where it's just like let's make everything as violent as fucking possible.
Yeah, I watched it. I went on like I remember going on like a binge of like these like 90s and 80s OVAs when I was in my I'm 14 and this is deep era, and it was the best. But even though a lot of the shows were so shit, just like on the grander scale of things, it's just like yay, blood, violence, sex, woo, yeah.
Well, like the
go ahead.
I was gonna say like stuff like even like the original Devilman was like obscure until it got the remake.
Oh,
because
yeah,
no one had heard of Devilman basically before it got remade.
It was
Yeah.
sick.
Huh?
Well, I mean, it's also extremely old. It was like made in the 60s or 70s, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, are any of you like me and like log every anime you've ever watched? Or no?
I did for a while
then
on
you
like my
didn't keep
anime
up with
list.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did for a while until it just I don't know. I stopped doing it.
It was like an
and-
achievement after a while, like Xbox.
yeah, it kind of like gamified watching anime for me, and then I didn't really like that because
See, I
sometimes
love gamifying everything in my life. I love it.
the board game guy,
The board
of
game
course.
player.
I have everything I've ever watched. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because like it got to a point where I would start like finishing anime just so I could put it on the list.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
and
the
I was
best.
just like, I don't enjoy this. I got to a point where I'm just like, why am I finishing this?
Yeah.
I literally am watching, like, wasting hours of my life to finish a show just so I could put it on my fucking list.
Just so I can talk about it for like 2 minutes in a video.
yeah,
right. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it wasn't worth
and
it.
then I found out that it would just like ruining my enjoyment to a lot of shows, so I
Yep.
stopped doing it. And
I'm sorry to hear that, but that's the exact opposite with me.
oh, really?
That's why I watched Clannad After Story. I was like, I gotta watch it just
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
And honestly, for me, I get it because time is limited, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just a nerd who just likes doing this, and like, if I had, because there was actually a period where I would drop shows really fast, like maybe
Yeah.
in like my teen years or whatever, like early 20s, like. I was like, this is boring, I'm going to stop. Oh, it's 3 episodes, it's boring, I'm going to stop, right?
Yeah.
And then I kept dropping stuff over and over and over again. I was like, okay, I'm gonna start like finishing stuff. Even if I start hating it, I'll hate watch it to the end.
Right.
Yeah.
And like Clannad, well, we're talking a lot about Clannad. I think, revisiting, you're going into it after like, a 14-year gap or whatever.
Yeah.
I think the first like 8 episodes kind of suck. Like they're not very good.
Fucking shit. I'm
'cause-
gonna say that literally put me off Clannad.
Yeah.
Like,
It's very slow.
even
the
for
fucking
After Story,
the
like,
fucking
it's-
starfish girl. I'm just like,
yeah,
I can tell you're like,
Fuka.
Fuka. I completely forgot now. I could tell like they were trying to pull my heartstrings. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
bitch.
she's awful. Yeah, and then they bring her back, and she's just awful. But but then because I stuck with it and watched it, like, and the last 10 were like really good. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm glad that I like stuck with it.
Yeah.
which is kind of tying back to like the whole reviewing thing.
Yeah.
Going back to like obscure shit. So there was. Have you seen Tonkatsu DJ Agataro?
Yeah.
That one's great.
That's a great show. Is
Yeah.
that obscure though?
Feel
Because
like
Do you know what
I-
that is?
I'm gonna search it up.
because they made a lot of memes of that. I remember that
Oh,
show.
did they?
Yeah, because that's such a memey show.
Yeah.
So it's like I remember at one point.
What is the show?
It's a guy who works at a tonkatsu restaurant.
Okay.
And he's like, I want to make him a DJ, and he starts applying the skills that he learned through making tonkatsu into DJing.
It's
It's
one of
great.
the weirdest shows.
It's
Oh,
great.
I have seen this one. I've not finished it, but I have watched it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's really weird. This is like I noticed like you find a lot of obscure shows, I guess, through like the early 2000s era.
Yeah.
Where I think after around like I think it's around 2016, 2017, everyone just started watching everything.
Yeah.
But there's this like magical golden period, which is between
it's between the 90s, end of the 90s OVA era
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like the golden age of the mid 2000s.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
early 2000s, there's just so many
Yeah.
fucking shows where it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
is
yeah,
this?
because there was like a lot of anime being produced back then compared to like, say like the 90s and everything like
Yeah.
that. But because of how the internet was, we just didn't have access to every show like we did now.
Sure.
So if like fan subbers just didn't choose to sub it, then you just wouldn't hear about it
True,
at all.
yeah.
Yeah. And I guess like a lot of the shows you're saying now just comes from that lost era. God, it feels weird to call it a lost era. Fuck.
The lost
The
era.
lost
Fuck.
era. The void
Fucking
century.
early 2000s. Oh my God.
See, I'm just looking at my list
Is
here.
this your hobby just to find obscure anime to like
Yeah,
talk
I just
about?
like talking about it. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Connor can attest. Like when we met at the Anime Awards.
Yeah.
It was like Yumi, like Miles, and like a couple people just like
Yeah, and you were
hanging out
just-
in the lobby, just talking about anime. Just like, have you seen this or do you know this
I
one?
swear,
Like,
I fell out of my depth pretty fast. They were talking about some shows, and like, yeah, I know that one. Yeah, I know that one. Then they started talking about shows, and I'm like, okay, I don't know that one. And then okay, well, I don't. What the fuck? That was just like crazy, though.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Everyone had like different levels of anime knowledge, but
Yeah,
everyone was there because they had something sort of to do with anime.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting.
It's like going down like the anime iceberg, you know. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
where are you on the iceberg?
Yeah, my main memory of that was just you just playing Love Life in the corner while everyone was just like awkwardly sitting there, but all you could hear is. And this guy, he's just like, and everyone's like, what?
yeah, I don't give a shit.
I respected that. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
Yeah. What award did you present at the Anime Awards? I can't remember.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Did you just turn up? You're like, fuck it, all right, I'll turn up.
Yeah.
Do you remember yours?
I
Yours?
did.
I remember I think I did best comedy.
I think I did best girl.
Best girl.
yeah,
okay.
Oh yeah, you did. How was the Anime Awards? Because I was sad I didn't get to go to that
It was
one.
really fun, right? I mean,
Chill.
yeah, we
Went to Chipotle.
Yeah.
we went to McDonald's.
Yeah, you got to see like the Crunchyroll
Oh yeah, we
studio,
went to
didn't you?
McDonald's. Yeah, we went to the Crunchyroll office. That was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Very fancy. I remember. Yeah, we went to the really sketchy McDonald's in San Francisco.
that's right. Yeah.
Why?
Because it was after the party, and so
We were fucking hungry.
yeah, it was like 11 p.m. We were really hungry, and the
That's
crowd-
quizzing you on British slang.
Yeah, that's right.
We were
yeah, I
going through
remember
like
this.
differences and stuff. Remember that? Yeah.
And we went to this McDonald's that was really, really sketchy. It was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
like no windows. It was like really dimly lit. It was
Yeah.
really fucking weird.
Yeah, yeah.
And everyone who came in was a character, like in GTA. It was
Well, like a
crazy.
GTA character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just
So it's just downtown LA. then.
yeah,
Yeah.
San Francisco's scarier than LA, I think sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, because like I hear stories from like some of the shit Mail-In says, and I'm like, there's no way this is a thing.
I don't know. Is LA scary or San Francisco? They're both the same.
I don't think either is particularly scary.
Maybe it's a foreign person. I'm like,
Maybe.
what the fuck?
Yeah, I think both are pretty scary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. To me, LA is like,
It's intense.
yeah. I get it now when Malin says like you need to be alert like constantly because like in Japan you just like fucking zonk out. And
Okay, when you're in fucking Japan, then you know, like, you're fine. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
have any of you been to like, I don't know, like Baltimore or Detroit or okay?
You're from Michigan, right?
I'm from Michigan, yeah.
Right.
So like I've been to Detroit, and you know, my wife grew up in Maryland, so I've been to like outside the Inner Harbor, Baltimore. Like,
Right.
those are areas that I'm like, this can be a little.
What is it like? What's the experience like over there?
There's definitely areas where like we shouldn't walk through here.
Because I think about that about LA. I just think
Interesting.
Yeah. Because I think I would not feel safe walking
Downtown
around
LA, especially.
Downtown
Well,
LA.
downtown LA is disgusting, but
Yeah.
right. In general. But,
Yeah. Safety is what was it? Relative, right? Safety is relative depending on where you come from. So earlier you were talking about, you know, completing anime, completing shows, just
Completing
yeah, just so you can put it on like your list or whatever.
Yep.
So would you like? Have you ever like watched anime or shows at like 1.5 speed or 2 times speed?
Absolutely not.
See, that's good. That's good.
Okay, good. You're
Do
not
any of you do that?
No,
Yeah.
we're not psychopaths.
Yeah, do people do that?
I've done
people
that.
do that.
I've done that. I've
Bruh.
For
I've
what?
done that.
For what show?
Huh?
You gonna do it for Brotherhood?
I've actually done it for like a lot of shows. Mostly so because it is my job, right? So I have to like
Disbelief.
because I do it in
What's better, you drop the episode or you watch it in 1.5?
there are some shows
yeah.
where you're just like I kind of like I know what kind of show this is going to be, but I need to consume it in order to like review it, right? And
This is the monster we've created. To drop things. Let people drop things.
and so instead of watching it at normal speed, I'm just like just to make sure I'm going to watch this show at 1.5 or 2 speed, just to make sure that it's actually the show that I think it's going to be. And 99%
So they're all going like that?
Yeah. You have no idea how quickly I can read subtitles now because of this, right? Like I literally like it's osmosis right now. Whenever I watch subtitles, it's
The sheer disbelief.
What? Why did I agree to be on this?
Someone's watching this in 1.5.
Oh God!
have you watched any like any YouTube videos at 1.5 speed, or are you
No.
just like a?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't watch videos in the 1.5 speed.
I can't. I physically can't.
There are occasionally some YouTubers.
You can.
that,
You're just not trying hard enough.
There are some YouTubers when you put them to 1.5, they sound like they're talking at a normal speed.
Yeah.
That's when I need it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, please, I need you to.
Oh, actually, no. There is one YouTuber that is a friend of ours that I watch at 1.5 speed. Sorry, John, a super amateur. But you just talk so slow, dude.
No, but like John's
like his
John's
style.
someone who you need to watch at normal speed because like his pace like it brings like the immersion and the
Someone
mood
chose
he's trying
a
to
pace,
set.
Yeah, but
and you
some-
shouldn't brutalize.
But
it.
but sometimes I'm just like,
You know what?
it's
Also,
a
something you
50
need to
minute.
watch at its own pace. All things.
I don't do it with every John video, but like sometimes where he drops
He's
like these like
backpedaling already. He's
50,
backpedaling.
when he's like 50-minute like videos, I'm just like
buckling
I
in.
really want to watch it, but I just don't have the time right now. So I'll just like I'll do 1.25, you know, just like a little bit faster, so I can just get it through it a little bit faster.
I'm the type of person where if I'm listening, like someone, let's say someone puts up like a song from a movie or something.
Yeah.
And it's even so slightly, because sometimes it's pitched wrong because it's like either for copyright or sometimes like it's like 1/2 note because of the speed.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't watch this. Like, it distracts me so much.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
right.
not right. This isn't right. So
Yeah.
1.5 or 2 times? No.
I've never seen a person look more disgusted.
Please
in his life.
never even say that to me. What are you? You're gonna say something next to piss me off, huh? It's like you. What's next?
Yeah, I mean, like, are you the type of guy where you watch something and you need to like, I kind of like, how can I say this? You can't keep. can you watch something casually, like in the background, or do you need to be like sitting down, paying attention, making sure that you are in like the mood and the zone into?
I have to be watching full attention because
I'm the same.
Yeah, because I have a lot of friends in the animation industry,
Right.
And they're like, I watched this show while doing drawing or doing work, and I'm like, so you didn't watch it then? So you didn't really watch it.
Yeah.
You heard a podcast version of it, basically.
Yeah.
Like I get like doing that with like music, for example,
Exactly.
right? Because it's like there's nothing visual. You're only just using your
You stare at the album
hearing.
cover.
well, no, yeah, well, all right, but like or like with music videos, for example, right?
yeah,
But it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
with something like a movie or a TV series, especially when it's anime, where it's like subbed, for instance,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to watch it fully because it's a visual show. Like
Right.
it's again, you're just watching the podcast version of it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a podcast I can listen to while I'm doing something.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it's for, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you say you watched a show and you were doing something else the entire time,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so you didn't really watch
So
it.
you didn't watch it.
Yeah. But now I'm like, would I rather someone watch a show half paying attention or through double speed? I don't know what's worse.
We found the bigger evil.
Oh, God, I don't know. So in double speed,
Yeah.
you're watching it entirely, though. No, you're not.
No, okay. I am watching it entirely.
You're also doing something
No,
else.
no. I can't do that. I can't do that. Like if the reason I put it on 1.5 or 2 times speed is because I cannot watch something casually. Like I would love to be able to, watch anime and be able to like write about it and stuff for my job, and also be able to like do something else, especially if it's
Sure.
like a shit show. But like I'm the type of guy who needs to pay attention and I need to be watching it. But sometimes there's like a lot of shit out there, man. There's a lot of mediocrity out there. And sometimes I just want to get through like the mediocre shows so I can
movies, and you're like, no, you can't drop them. What? Like what? Double standards.
No, it's because talking about anime is my job, right? It's because like I need to watch it in order to have like the informed opinion that I want to. And sometimes there is a certain show that gets better or
Bastardize it.
I'm just surprised you can consume it at 2 times speed
why?
because it's like
He's unlocked all the chakras.
So many reasons, but
Okay, I gotta ask: are you a big video game guy? Do you play a lot of video games?
not as much as I used to, but I do.
So, what's the opinion on skipping cutscenes?
On your first play,
Yeah,
absolutely not.
I skip like all cutscenes. I'm also a voice actor as well.
So you're just like boring. I don't want to just skip to the gameplay.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he
And
does.
you don't know what's going on. You're just like shoot, jump.
A lot of the time, yeah.
We're gonna have our first
I know.
guest.
Which one's worse?
We're gonna have our first guest walk off the podcast. We're gonna make history today.
Which one's worse? Skipping the cutscenes. At least he's watching it.
I love the Thanos meme of like when you get to the end boss and they're like, you took everything from me. I don't even know who you are.
That's literally him playing every single video game.
I get the gist.
Oh boy.
What are some of your favorite video games? Now then, let's bring the topic into
ones with
something
cutscenes in them?
something a little lighter, right?
I didn't really know what happened much.
Let me guess. Are you a Kingdom
Did you
Hearts
skip
fan?
all the? Actually, there are a ton of cutscenes in that, right?
Not a lot, no. It's
Oh, so you had to actually listen.
It's annoying because they keep fucking talking while you're traveling. And like, it's like, oh,
Let me guess. Are you a Kingdom Hearts fan?
No.
Really? Well, you're a Disney fan though.
Yeah, but I like good games. So. I mean, I played one. One is bad. I played Chain of Memories. I played 2. I played
3.4.
358 over 2 days. Unfortunately, that one's terrible.
That one sucks. Yeah.
I haven't played anything past that.
Yeah.
I think they're like I actually like Chain of Memories.
Really?
Yeah, that's the one that's weird, but it has like kind of deck building in it, so I like that.
Right.
But I wouldn't call myself a Kingdom Hearts fan. No,
Right.
I didn't play it past a certain point.
What are some games that you do like then?
I love Paper Mario. Like the
Ah,
original Paper
yeah,
Mario.
Yeah.
I love BioShock.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 9 is my favorite of
Oh,
those.
9. Okay.
I like 7 a lot too. I mean, I grew up with a lot of Nintendo stuff, so like
Yeah.
love Mario. I do love good JRPGs. Like, you know, I loved like Persona 5, Dragon Quest 11.
Hell
I've
yeah.
been trying to get him to play Persona
So many
5, but like
cutscenes.
I've been
Oh
scared.
yeah,
I've been scared to.
talking in it.
Yeah, it's like, he's just gonna do like a fucking speed run of it.
Every time I skip cutscenes, I was like, "Aren't you a voice actor? Why are you skipping the cutscenes?" And I'm like, "Hey, I just because I do it doesn't mean I want to watch the cutscene. Because a game for me is just I just want to play. I don't want to. I don't want the story nonsense."
Connor, what if everyone you voice in the game, and everyone skipped all your dialogue?
I wouldn't mind. They have the right. They have the right to do it.
They don't have the right.
They have the right.
It's
They
only
paid
the
60
second
bucks.
time.
Yeah.
Only on replays are you allowed to do that. That's so. Oh boy.
I when I stream games, I try not to do it, but sometimes I have like reflex to do it, and then I'm so sorry, chat. I didn't mean to do that. But
He's not
ingrained
sorry.
in me.
He's not sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have a Let's Play channel and we're doing Paper Mario and my co-host, my good friend Jay, was like skipping through the dialogue and I was like, you gotta fucking stop. You gotta stop. And we do it like months in advance. And so like when they came out, all the comments were like, stop skipping through the dialogue. And I was like, I was right.
Especially Paper Mario, because the dialogue's so charming.
I know, it's so charming, right? He's
Yeah.
like, I'm like, I'm gonna kill you. Absolutely gonna kill you.
We should never do a Let's Play.
No, absolutely not. Oh god.
Unless it's like Connect 4.
Yeah, exactly. Or Pac-Man or something. You know?
Yeah. Do you find that if you voice in something, does that enhance the experience for you, or does that like mean that you can't watch it or you can't play it anymore? Like
It doesn't really have any
effect
for me. Like I actually have not played any of the games I'm in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that out of pure coincidence or
Pure coincidence.
Okay. Okay.
I think the one that just got announced today, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes,
Right.
that one I probably will play because I actually like
you like Fire
like
Emblem?
Fire Emblem.
I loved Three Houses and I'm gonna play
Fuck
it. And I
yeah.
love Muso games.
Yeah.
Oh, you should ask about his Fire Emblem experience.
I played Three Houses.
Yeah, he completed it. One
Yeah.
route.
Well, he completed one route and then he dropped it.
Did you watch the cutscenes?
I was confused a lot of the time. You know, with like, because there's a whole. I'll spoil it for Three Houses. I'll give you like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So you know how there's like a big betrayal?
Yeah.
I was like really confused at like one point because I was like, wait, why am I fighting her now? Because I skipped the cutscenes. I just like the strategy elements of the gameplay. I thought that was fun.
So for you, they're like, I just like these nondescript anime chess pieces to move around.
Yeah,
I don't know what any of them, why they're here or what they're doing, but they go slash. I like it.
I felt like I learned the character through the combat styles, you know, like because a lot of them, their combat styles reflect their character, I think. But there was also like the part when I went to school and I was so fucking bored.
Oh, you would hate Persona 5.
Yeah.
It was like I do this amazing gameplay section where I was like, damn, these guys are throwing hands, dude. And then I go back to this school and I got to talk to people for like 40 minutes and fish and shit.
That's literally
That's
Persona.
like the best.
You just described Persona.
That's the-
But I was like,
boy.
why? That's so fucking boring. Why are you making me do this? Let me just play the gameplay.
You are playing the game. Talking to the characters is playing the game.
Yeah,
Part of the game.
That's part of the game.
Do you like characters? or plots?
I do. See, for me, it's like I love stories in movies. In video games, I just want that pure gameplay. That's all I want from games.
He has goopy goblin gamer brain.
So that's why the majority of games I play are like competitive games. If I wasn't streaming, I wouldn't do any of these. Like I would never have played Inscription. But I'm so glad I did. Inscription was so fun.
What's Inscription?
Oh my god, it's this amazing indie game by who's it called? The guy's made a bunch of other amazing games.
Yeah, I don't remember the names.
He's
but, yeah.
a really talented game dev, and it's how would you describe Inscription?
I actually didn't finish it because, it's basically like an escape room combined with like a deck building game.
Oh,
And then-
okay.
Like you're in like a creepiest like cabin and you're locked in, and then like you're trying to advance through this game of like cards, like
Right.
and like you slowly start unlocking things.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the gameplay and the visual style completely changes
Right.
times.
Wow.
See, I actually don't know that part.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
No, that's okay. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's really cool.
Does it have a story?
Oh yeah, and I mean, I had to read the story and I had to pay attention because I was
how horrible!
What was you?
I was streaming and I can't skip through it otherwise everyone gets pissed off. And so
Yeah, rightfully so.
Exactly. Yeah.
I enjoyed that story though, but I think it's
that's good.
If I give it a shot, I'll do it. But if I was playing it alone, I wouldn't do it, and I'd have it.
So you have to force yourself to play story-based games
Yeah.
on stream, otherwise you are going to skip the story.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, remember when we were trying to get him to play 13 Sentinels?
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
That would be a nightmare for you.
No, I remember we said, yeah, Connor, you should play 13 Sentinels. I think on a podcast he said, oh, can I just skip the cutscenes? And I'm like, that game is all cutscenes.
Have you played Ace Attorney?
I have never been interested in Ace Attorney.
I know why. No, yeah.
The style never appealed to me.
It's a good game.
Yeah, I liked
Or like Danganronpa.
Professor Layton.
But you skipped all the cutscenes.
Yeah.
So for you, it was just like a fucking. It was just
I
like a
love the
brain
puzzles.
age game,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah.
It was a brain age game, and sometimes there's a hat guy who goes, "Ooh, well done." And you're like, "Who's that guy? What's his deal?" I don't know.
I don't know. It's weird because it doesn't take away any of my enjoyment of games.
Yeah.
Like I still. Like,
Well, I'm happy for you.
I liked Three Houses. I had a fun time. I just wish I could skip a lot of stuff easier. You know, some of them. I liked it though. I like the core like gameplay.
I'm just gonna find out. Oh yeah. Also, I only smell food. I don't actually. what I do is I only chew it up and spit it out. I don't swallow. I don't know any of that.
Just swallow food.
Yeah.
I just swallow.
I just put it in my mouth and swallow. I don't bite it.
It's like, why do people flavor food? You know, who needs to cook? You know,
Just chicken breast unseasoned. My go-to.
When I go swimming, I only put my elbows in. That's all I do.
I bathe my feet only. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, what are some other games that I've played that I enjoyed that I skipped all the cutscenes?
did you? What about Metal Gear Revengeance? Because I feel like
Okay, that was like you couldn't like it wouldn't even like even if I wanted to, I couldn't press the skip button. It was so enthralling. Like all those cutscenes were just like orgasmic. That was a good game, but it's also like a 5-hour game. It was 10 hours because I was slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, that was so funny. That was a movie. That was a movie with QuickTime events.
Yeah.
course, yeah.
I mean, that's like a lot of Kojima.
That's
games.
most Kojima games.
Yeah.
No, I have not. However, you know that cutscenes are also like little movies in a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this was just purely a movie with occasional button pressing. It's like if your DVD kept freezing.
But like to me, when I get to the cut scene and everything like that, like I feel like it's the feeling you get when you get to the cutscene or the story portions in a video game is like different from watching a movie because like I feel like I earned it, you know. Like I feel like progressing through a video game story is so much more satisfying than progressing through a movie story, right? Because like you watch a movie and you're just there to enjoy the story. With a video game, if it's like
There's immersion.
like there's immersion, you really feel like, damn, I fucking earned this story, man. It feels good.
For me, it's like I don't know what is going on with my brain, but if it's just like a normal game where it's like, oh, if I can like one attempt everything, then I don't feel like I've earned it. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I just did it first time, easy.
Because to me, like there are some games that like I have a hard time finishing games, right? Because I get through like the gameplay loop, I enjoy that, and then it's like you get to like that 60 to 70%, and it kind
No,
of
I feel that.
yeah, and then it kind of just becomes the same all
Yes.
over again, except you have 30% of the game
Right.
left to play.
Right.
If there is not a story, I am not finishing that game, or if I'm not invested in that story, there is no way I get
I
to
get
that
that.
end point.
I get that.
Yeah. And you find that with especially a lot of JRPGs where because JRPGs are so long, you get to kind of near end game, and then that's when you hit like a wall.
It's also
right?
it's also that thing with JRPGs where it's like you get to that like 60-70% part, and then you're like, oh, you get busy or whatever, right? Like something happens,
And
and
then
then
you
you
get
don't play for 2
sidetracked.
days, and then
Yeah.
you come back and you're like, what was happening again?
Yeah.
All right, you know what? I'll just start from the beginning. Fuck it.
one of the only JRPGs I've ever played. These guys know, but I've only ever played like Blue Dragon.
A little bit, but I never got far.
That was I watched.
I've never even played that.
What made you watch all the cutscenes in that and not literally every other game you've ever played?
So when you're at that age where you can only have like 3 games,
Yeah.
a year, and then you're like, well, got to get my mileage out
So
of it.
you like milked it. You're like, all right, I'll watch these cutscenes because
I need more hours to fill it so that I don't have to go and beg my mum for another game. Yeah, it's like when you go to GameStop and you would get like, I don't know if they did this. Did they do this in GameStop? In the UK, they did this. Where you can get like 3 games for like $20 if they were pre-owned.
oh yeah.
So I would just pick up like any game that looked remotely cool, and it was normally the ones that were like anime looking. Turned out those are the games that I actually liked least.
Yeah.
Because the anime
Because there's
ones-
so much
they're
story and characters. Yeah.
so long.
God,
Yeah.
game writers crying right now.
Game writers, animators, voice actors, all
Yeah.
crying.
Yeah.
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 Well, he is a voice actor.
I am a voice actor. I don't feel if someone wants to skip it, I'm like,
Would you skip a game dialogue if you were in it? Or would you just skip to your dialogue?
maybe I'd listen to it the first time and be like, cool, I remember doing this. Skip.
Okay.
To go back, you asked before about stuff that I'm in.
Yeah.
So games, I haven't played anything, but shows I've actually watched
Okay.
that I'm in, and that doesn't bother me. In fact,
Right.
I wouldn't say like enhances it, but oftentimes I'm like, oh, like this is the whole like, because
Context.
the context exactly
yeah,
like
yeah.
for like I play Kage in ranking of Kings,
Right.
and I only did the Kage parts, right?
Ah, okay,
and so
okay.
when I went in, sometimes have you guys seen ranking?
Yeah,
Kings?
I've seen
I
it.
haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
I've seen a
Yeah.
couple of episodes.
Yeah.
There'll be you've seen the whole thing.
Yeah, I've seen the
There'll
whole
be
thing.
parts where like a character comes back and they're like, they don't have an eye anymore, right? And you're like, I'm like, what the hell happened? Because it happened like somewhere on some other
That's
scene.
that's
right?
the Sea Dog VA experience. He just
exactly.
That's how I experience all my media.
Yeah, you're like, oh well, they're dead now, or whatever. It doesn't matter.
True.
So when I finally sat down to I watched Ranking of Kings like last month, finally.
Right.
And I actually was like, should I watch it subbed or dubbed? And I was like, I was thinking about it because
Yeah.
I usually watch stuff subbed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll watch it dubbed because let's see how it all fit in. And,
Yeah.
It was actually a really good dub, like all like bias aside, like everyone
Right.
did a really good job. But it was enjoyable to be like, oh, like this is the whole picture now. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
like I recognize all the scenes that I'm in, but now I'm seeing like what all the other characters were doing and
Right.
why. Okay, like.
Like Memento. He's piecing it together.
Kinda,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's funny. Like when I was recording Ranking of Kings, I chose to not watch as it was airing.
Right,
Like, some of the
right.
actors
Oh.
did. Some of the actors were like, I want to watch Japanese.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to know what
They sound
my
like.
character doesn't know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So like,
okay.
yeah.
Right.
So like, if a character runs in and I'm like, I don't know what happened. I have not seen what happened to this character.
Yeah.
I can react a little more naturally.
perfectly.
To it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So something like that, or like Agretzko was like another one where I
Yeah.
watched it and got to see the full because there's a whole storyline in. I don't
Yeah.
know if you've watched Agretzko.
Yeah,
I've
Yeah,
watched it. Yeah.
You killed it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, season 3, there's a whole Haida storyline. I have no part in dubbing.
Right.
So like I was like, oh, that's what's going on with the Haida stuff. Like,
Right.
I was only in the Agretzko side.
Right.
So like,
I do find with villain voices, I like watching it because I feel like if you're dubbing it or working with this character as you're getting the script, you don't know the character's full intentions. So I like as when you're a villain, you get to watch all of it or read all of it and you're like, okay, this is what I'm working towards. This is what my goal was.
Yeah.
So when I go in the start, I know what kind of energy I'm going with and what I'm really going towards. But I guess, when you're like kind of just a cog in the machine or a protagonist and it's all happening reactively,
Sure.
Yeah.
that would help.
Yeah. How do you get like the context of each scene then? If
a director will explain it to you.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
like the director will explain stuff like, okay, so this is what happened, this and this and this, but you still like there's still tons of stuff you don't like.
You just
get to
trust
see.
that they know.
You just trust that they
the
know,
writer.
and
Right.
like you sort of have to be in the moment of the character, basically.
Yeah. Do you ever have a take when you're just like, that's not the take, but they take it, they use it anyway?
No, I usually because I'm just fucking bangers all. No,
One take wonder, baby.
Yeah. I only need one, baby.
because usually I know when it's like not the one, right?
Right,
like
right.
I often find for me it's not the right take if it's just like a more of a technical thing like enunciation or like a stumble
Yeah.
than an acting choice.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
usually I agree with whatever they choose.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is interesting, like in especially when you're doing video games and you're doing like hundreds of lines,
Right.
And it'll just be like you do like an ABC take where it's like 3 different takes,
Yeah.
and then they just go okay B, and it's like I don't remember which one B was out of the 3 takes I did. So when you watch the final thing, you're like, oh, these are the takes that they chose. Like
Yeah.
interesting.
Right,
Like,
right.
That can be kind of that's also the fun part of like watching something that you're in. I'm like, oh, like these are the ones they chose in the end, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
When I was dubbing this one anime one time, the preview they'd been given, I think, from Japan was so low res that I couldn't even see the lip flaps.
oh shit.
And
Okay.
I was like, I actually asked him, I'm like, did I match it? I don't know. Did it ever happen to you? Or
Where it was so low res. Or?
Yeah, on the monitor where they gave it to you. It was like 100p, and then the character was off in the side talking. I'm like, how
am I supposed to time it?
help me out here?
I haven't had that problem. Here's a little dirty secret of mine. I don't look at the flaps.
Yeah, I realized after doing it a few times, I just stopped looking. And
Yeah,
it kind of worked.
because usually the scripts are so well written to match that you don't actually need to. Like usually, if I listen to the Japanese, watch the scene once, and kind of play the line in my head, I know the rough timing, or even just knowing, oh, this one it's kind of a slower delivery. I can just go naturally, and 95 or 90% of the time it just fits because they've written it so succinctly already that it naturally fits.
The engineers are also wizards.
The engineers are amazing.
It'll be like not fitting. They'll be like, oh, I think we can make it fit.
Hey, just nudge. Oh, it's perfect.
And then it literally fits and it sounds perfect. And
Exactly.
What the fuck? It's like these dudes are insane.
Yeah, they're invaluable. Yeah. So
I heard like an audio engineer is like your best friend.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh,
voice
yeah,
actor.
But I swear, like most of the lines I did was like a little bit off, and then they're like, oh, no.
yeah.
Like,
When I did my first anime, I was so like, oh, I gotta make sure like I match it perfectly. Like I was so like intimidated by it. And then I realized, oh no, they'll just tell you like if it's and you just do it again. Like whatever. Like
they're not gonna be like pissed off at you.
Yeah, they're
what the fuck is wrong with you?
like oftentimes it's like, oh, the script is just we gotta change this word, or like things like that, like stuff that's out of your control anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, or should I say, sorry for coming on the show.
You made enemies today.
I definitely learned some new things about you guys.
Can I take any of it back? No. It's okay, but board games don't have cutscenes, right? So that's
the equivalent of you skipping cutscenes would be like, I'm reading the instructions, and you go, what?
Definitely.
I'll just learn as I go.
You actually just called me out. I like to play the game, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Wait, you don't listen to instructions when you?
I listen, but then I'm like, it's normally a lot of information, and the way for me to process it is to do like a round. I'm like, this is
Okay, so what he's saying is he hears it, but he doesn't actually take it in.
I'm actually the same in that, where I feel like I learn better by experience something rather than someone like explaining
that makes sense because even hearing a load of text is not going to make sense, but once you're doing stuff,
You
I
feel like
get
really
that.
basic concepts. Sometimes you're like, what? And then you just see it, and you're like, oh yeah, that's very very simple. Oh, okay, I'm a fucking idiot.
yeah.
Yeah, but hey, look at all these patrons, though. Oh my god!
Wow,
Look at all
thanks so
these
much.
people
Support
who
the show.
support
You see them all on screen?
Yeah, I saw all of them right there.
Yeah.
Actually, I skipped them. Sorry. I only look at Patreon credits if they're double speed.
Put it on 2 times speed. Speed it up, Muda.
Oh my god.
But hey, if you want to support the show, then go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/trashtaste. Also follow us on Twitter, send us some memes on the subreddit, and if you hate our face, listen to us on Spotify. And hey, I mean, we don't have to tell you, go check out someone's stuff.
where-
Is there something you want to shout out? Anything?
YouTube, Twitter, I guess TikTok now, just like ProZD.
If he's not banned.
PROZD. Just Google that. You'll find everything on there.
Hell
Oh
yeah.
yeah, links in the description. Check it out.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on, and I'm sorry.
We're all sorry.
see how
At
it
least
goes.
Joey didn't piss you off.
Yeah,
Joey's
Yeah,
the
we're
good
still
egg.
good.
We're good. The bond was formed here.
Exactly.
Anyway, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.